It's another Saturday. Hello, good morning, and welcome to your weekend favorite news and current affairs analysis program, The Big Issue, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra, and also live on City 97.3 FM. On The Big Issue, we discuss the issues that have dominated media conversations in the past 1 week. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, I introduce the issues and our guests, and we'll kick the conversation started. Yeah, welcome back. You're still watching The Big Issue on ChannelOne television and also listening on City 97.3 FM. On The Big Issue, we discuss the major issues that dominated media conversations in the past 1 week. Well, an issue that caught up in media conversations is the recent attacks between the US, Iran, and Israel on the back of some recent development, which a lot of people have said that may cause some disruptions in oil supply in major parts of the country across the globe, especially here in Africa. Already, President John Dramani Mahama says we should brace ourselves up for some disruptions in supply of oil, which may affect economies within Africa especially. But then the National Petroleum Authority says we shouldn't worry because we have over 5 weeks of import, 5 weeks of fuel that will cover the entire country, and so we shouldn't really worry about the situation. But the question we are asking is, in the event that this attack continues, what will be the future of Ghana as far as oil supply is concerned? And you know, a major part of our oil supply, we import them. And Iran, we all know, is a major player in this industry. What is going to be the implications? Should the war also continue and further on, what is going to happen to the global supply chain and the effects, especially the economic effects? And will it affect Ghana as far as its economic recovery is concerned? This is an issue we'll discuss today on The Big Issue. Also, the issue of Galamsey has come up. There was a recent report by the Forestry Commission that says that over 9,000 hectares of land has been destroyed through the activities of illegal mining. We ask, over the years, the activities, the fight on how to end illegal mining or Galamsey, is it proving any result, any positive result at all? Or still, the Galamseyers are still doing what they are doing the most? And the major interventions, we had the military on the ground, introduction of technology. We've not seen any improvement in the fight against illegal mining or Galamsey. This morning we asked, is there any new addition or new adaptation we can do to help in the fight against illegal mining? We'll ask those questions this morning. And also, Ghana is 69 years of independence. Is there anything we should be proud of? 69 years of independence. Has Ghana reached where our forefathers expected us to be, or is still where we are? So we should forget, we just be in the queue and just celebrate it every year as it comes. Or maybe, perhaps, we've not had the right leadership that will push the country to where we should be proud of after 69 years of independence. These are the issues we are discussing today on The Big Issue, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. And I introduce my guest to you shortly. Dr. Ishmael Norma is a security analyst. He's one of our guests for today's conversation. We also have Alhaji Inus Afuseni, former member of parliament for the Tamale Central constituency, former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, and a former Deputy Energy Minister under the late Professor John Evans Atamel's administration. Also, Kojo Poku Nsafwa is an energy analyst and a member of the New Patriotic Party. Duncan Amoah, Executive Director of COPEG, and later Franklin Kujo will join us through Zoom to also help us with this conversation. So these gentlemen today join me for a conversation on issues that have dominated media conversations in the last 1 week. My name is Sammi Wiafe, sitting in for regular host Umaru Sanda Amadu. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Good to see you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, I have to start surcharging you guys every time my name is turned upside down.
Could you tell me about it?
Kojo in Safwa.
Kojo in Safwa
Poku.
We use the Opoku first.
I don't know why. It's not Opoku. It's Poku. There's no O in front of it.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's Kojo
in Safwa.
Or call him Poku Transport. Just call him
Because
Poku
I don't know why
Transport.
everybody. It's serious because you see, I go back home and everybody was like, Kojo, no one is out there. I'm like, no, I haven't. My name is Kojo in Safwa Poku. Or call me Kojo Poku.
Noted. Kojo Poku.
People like the Safwa,
Or
but they place it.
Poku Transport.
Let's start with the conversation. And Kojo, I'll start with you because of your background. I'm sure you've seen recent development. Iran, Israel, US, a lot of people are worried. Our president, John Dramani Mahama, said that we should brace ourselves up for possible disruption in oil supply. But then the National Petroleum Authority said we shouldn't worry. 5 weeks, we are covered. Should we still be worried?
Well, I would have been happier if that, don't worry, came from the players than the regulator, because the regulator can only call a meeting and basically take information from what the players are doing. I think there's no consensus yet in terms of fuel security. You know, when there is this war in the areas where most of our hydrocarbon comes from, the concern is in two folds: fuel security and then prices. Let's deal with fuel security. Because we import most of our products, even Centio, who refines locally, still imports the crude oil. So both the refined and the non-refined are imported. The most important thing we have to look at is the crude oil prices going up, and is that affecting the Platts, which is how we price the refined products, the petrol and the diesel and all the rest that we buy. Yes, it would affect it. So now prices were around maybe $59 per barrel. As at yesterday, it's gotten to $91 per barrel. So we are going to see a big jump in the Platts prices, the refined prices coming in the FOB in the coming window. That would basically come and hit the pockets of the average Ghanaian. So that, in terms of the war, would do affect prices, and from a $30 jump in the crude oil prices, is going to have a huge effect on the refined products. Then you go to the next conversation of the security, the fuel security. Now, prices is mainly due to demand and supply. Yeah. Now, if refineries who get supply of crude, everybody is getting their crude, then it's fine. There will be enough supply of products on the market. But we know that since the Strait of Hormuz, that controls 20% of the world crude oil coming out of the Gulf area, is closed. A lot of refineries are also not going to get constant supply of crude. So it means that there's going to be less refined products on the market. What that means is that there's going to be shortage, and when demand now outstrips supply, that is also going to create another high prices for the refined products. So the crude oil price going up is going to affect the refined products. Then the scarcity of that product, which is the fuel security of not having the refineries, not having the crude oil, is also going to create less refined products on the market. So there's going to be a two-pronged approach. We are not only tracking the crude oil price affecting the Platts, the refined products, we're also tracking the scarcity of that product in the world market to also affect the price. So it is a double whammy. It is a concern, which is going to basically go a long way to hurt our economy. Because you look at the successes that have been chalked in the system. Our brothers in NDC talks about low dollar, low fuel price and all that, right? And the Ghanaian were not given enough in terms of only 12% increase in wages negotiation. So if we look at fuel prices in the next 3 months going up exponentially, it is going to affect the Ghanaian pocket. And it is going to also affect the inflation that everybody talks about.
So you expect an increase?
No, it's natural. We forget, as I'm saying, the two effects is constant. Yeah. One is the lack of the product on the market is going to create high prices for the product because it's going to be scarce. Then the high price of the crude oil, because what we sell in the market, okay, so this is how prices are priced. You don't price them how you bought it. You price it at the cost of which you will replace it. I hope you understand. Yeah. So if I have this bottle, right, I price it, if I'm to sell this, how much would it cost me to replace it? Yeah. That is how much I'll sell this product for. I don't sell it at the price at which I bought it. So if I sell it and I can't replace it, then it becomes a problem. So the prices in the pump in the coming window, the next window is 16, right? In the next window, you see a big jump because everybody is now going to price the next window at the price at which we are going to now replace in the next 2 weeks. And this war has just started, right? We are being told it's going to go for months. So even if it stops today, the ramification is still going to exist. So in terms of expecting higher prices, that one, we check the box. Yes, we are going to get higher prices. But in terms of fuel security, which is what we talked about, MPA saying that they have enough in the tank. For me, they can only forecast within the next 5 weeks, as they've said, right? After 5 weeks, then what next? Because the products we get into the country, when it's available on the market, then you get some.
Yeah.
But if there's shortage on the market, then how are you going to get? So then we need to now quickly start talking to maybe Dangote, who is our neighbor, to now look at how best we can look at fuel security within the Gulf, the West African region, and get products from Dangote.
Yeah.
But if we are relying on the normal importers that we have, there might be a shortage of products on the world market coming out of Europe and the Asias, and that might affect us.
Right.
So that will be a problem. But the other thing that we should also keep our eyes on is the issue of value chain. You know, fuel is energy, and it is the fundamental cost for production of everything. So not only are we should be looking at the fuel cost, which is the base of, is the input cost for a lot of industries. So if you're looking at fuel prices going up, the other conversation is the value chain also going up. So cost of food, cost of products, cost of manufacturing, all those things are also going to go up. So in one part, we consume the products in its raw form.
Yeah.
But in the other form, it's also an input product which goes into industries. And if fuel goes up, if the hydrocarbons goes up, then the gas and all the derivatives also go up.
Yeah.
So industry, who is also manufacturing and using those derivatives, also their prices will go up. So there's a cascaded effect of cost rising. So we should expect it.
Okay, all right. Duncan, I'll come to you because of from where you are coming from. What role will TOR and Centio play in all this? Domestic, let's say domestic production in all this.
Permit me to take a view of the global situation currently, just to add a bit to what Kojo had already indicated. Things are looking a bit shaky out there. The supply situation is very bad as I speak. Last week I had mentioned that for every single day that the war continues, the global market space is denied a minimum 22 million barrels daily, right? Like Kojo mentioned, demand and supply. If demand remains, right, and then there's a supply shortfall of between 20 to 25%, that's how much the blockade at the Straits of Hormuz cost all of us globally. The first few days, you know, prices were not that bad because there was already an oversupply situation. OPEC and its allies were already doing more than 200,000 barrels excess daily. So even in Ghana, you had a situation where we had a lot of, you know, fuel in tank. If you go to the Lome Triangle today, there's still quite some fuel, although I believe with the outset of these hostilities, all of that you have at the Lome Triangle would also be taken up by other countries. And so for every single day that you see hostilities between Israel, the US, Iran, the world economy is being squeezed or being deprived of a minimum 22 million barrels daily. And so I wasn't surprised that at the close of trading yesterday, Friday, WTI, not Brent, had crossed $91. Brent had done over $93, $94, $95. It is not looking funny. We started from around 67, 68. We came into the 70s, the 80s, we've crossed the 90s. I heard the former BP chief executive suggest that if this is not curtailed within the next 1 month, we could hit 150. And so the conversation is not just going to be about we have 5 weeks of stock. It would have to be between now and that 1 month. What should Ghana particularly be doing?
Yeah.
And so where you bring me to TOR, Centur, they are a part of the mix. But you would need your bigger strategy in place so that you can cite TOR and Centur to play a role in there. Your bigger strategy at this point for me, if I can advise my brother, the energy minister, get to the Lome Triangle immediately. Get as much stock as you can. Because Kojo has indicated every single day that the Hormuz is blocked, right? Logistical cost is going up. The cost of insurance or freight, you know, Maersk and the other oil traders globally have refused their vessels going through, right? And even those that will ply Europe and Africa. Some of them are today charging an extra premium of $100,000. If you add it, maybe they will move. Otherwise, they'll keep their ships. I mean, they are comfortable. Insurance costs have gone up. And so cost generally is surging, and somebody will pay for it. I am not particularly enthused by the 5 weeks storage we have. It is abysmal. And I'll put this on record. I have followed the international media a lot since the outset of these hostilities. South Korea is doing 7 months import cover. That's how much they have. 3.5 months for the central government, 3.5 months for private capital, right? Other countries, Germany and the rest, although they are being squeezed now, some of them can give you about 12 months, 15 months, right? That if nothing comes in, they can still be able to sustain their net national demand. I mean, for those numbers.
But do we have the capacity to do the number of months these countries are
Yes,
doing?
we do. Yes, we do. And I would explain. Tall tanks alone is doing almost 1 million, right? Metric tons. That's a lot. So assuming Tor is not even refining, and you are using just their tanks to store product storage.
That's like how many months? If we say 1 million, like how many months are we looking
1 million metric, if you are doing about 360, that's almost 2-3 months for Tor alone, if you stock up. Bust will come to about 700, between 700, 800. That's also significant. Then you have other private depots dotted around. Thermafuel Company or the TFC. A lot of them in the Pong Enclave. If you decided that you are stocking up, you could be looking at between 4 to 6 months in the minimum. 5 weeks is to say you have just 1 month. I have heard discussions this morning that suggest, okay, so if it is just 1 month, can we say that the players will hold their prices that they already bought the products for before the 90-91 upsurge for the next 1 month? The answer will be no. You see, I have advocated all along that we should get a reserve margin and give to Bust. A reserve margin that is controlled by the ministry and the government. We pay all kinds of taxes, funny taxes on petroleum products, but nothing for strategic stock. It is worrying, Sammi. You see, a time like this exposes you to not only grave danger, but grave harm that could be caused to your economy. Sammi, if you remain a price taker, right, that only depends on what Europe is giving you, what the Dubai Asia bloc is giving you. Sammi, in times like this, you will pay higher premiums, right? If you had a situation where we had a reserve margin fund, okay, that is generating, let's say, 50 million Ghana cedis a month. Because for petroleum pricing, every 1 peso would yield a minimum 4 million Ghana cedi. I mean, either saving or expenditure. So if you are doing just 10 pesos, and each month you were saving about 40-50 million, and that money was simply to buy products to store so that Ghanaians can have something to fall back on, industries can have something, your economy generally can have something to fall back on. These are the benefits you derive. I would explain them, I mean, in 2 ways. One, the central government can insist that I bought products to store when Platt was 500. Platt that used to be around 690, 700 before the start of this window. Today is above 1,000. Sammi, it's no joke. So we might be seeing the missiles flying, you know. For some of us, it's like a war movie. Oh, they've bombed here. This has happened here. But this is a country that has not planned. And so look at what we are discussing. 5 weeks of cover. Not enough. 5 weeks is 1 month. Sammi.
Okay.
If the war protracts beyond the number of weeks that the US itself is saying,
Then there's
between
trouble.
there will be absolute trouble. But even within that space, if you have 5 weeks and the war began, we are almost in the second week, right? By the third week, which is the following pricing window, the BDCs will not come and sell at less than new premiums, because they will need to recover costs, like Ojo said.
Okay.
They will not sell anything below the plat prices that pertains, because the product we have in tank in Ghana currently is private capital. There's nothing for the central government.
Dada,
And that
thank
should
you.
be worrying.
Okay.
Sammi?
Thank you. Doc, before I come to you, let me take the take of Alhaji, because he served as a deputy energy minister. Dr. John Jinapo be thinking now.
Well, I think that basically I need to comment Duncan and Safwa, Opoku, the case man. They've laid the situation very, very bad from the private capital point of view. And that is the situation. Also, when I heard the MPA say that we have 5 months cover,
5 weeks.
5 weeks
weeks,
cover,
yeah.
I said, they must be thinking, what happens after 5 weeks? And to think that way, you must start it now. Because the war is not going to end in 5 weeks. Now, estimates by the United States itself puts the war beyond 5 weeks. Okay, so you should know that we are in for a long haul. Now, so 5 weeks is 1 month. Now, that's why Trump is not saying that, well, the best way out of this situation is for Iran
To surrender.
to surrender.
Completely. Which you don't see happening.
Now, and Boko is very, very right. And then Duncan too. I mean, when 20% of the oil, international oil, passes through the Strait of Hormuz, we don't source our oil through that route. No. But what will happen is that because there's a restriction, it will affect the price. Okay? And when it affects the price, it will not only be limited to the oil that is going through that way. Sure. It's international.
Basket.
It's a basket. So no matter where we source our oil, we are going to be hit by price. Price increases. Now, then he talks about a Lomi triangle. But what will happen? Because the Strait of Hormuz has not been blocked, people are going to start looking for other sources. So even though they have enough oil in that triangle, people are going to look at that. And it's safer. I mean, those in Europe who have benefited from a shorter distance from Asia to Europe will now be looking to see whether they can get their oil from Africa. So that's going to drive the price. For government side, government should be looking to see, well, can you go into some form of strategic sourcing for our oil immediately? Can I get government to government arrangements? Because this war is not ending in 5 weeks. And how do I do that? One, on government side, to ensure that oil or crude will come in, or refined products will come in to continue to be available for Ghanaians. Price will go up, whether we like it or not. In fact, in Bangladesh, price has already gone up. Okay, it's gone up.
And in Miami,
they are rationing. They are rationing. They are
If
rationing.
your car number is an even number, you move on a Monday,
And then
Wednesday, Friday.
yes. And even
the
on
odd
that,
numbers will move this particular day.
even on that day, if your car is even, you can only buy a certain quantity
Of fuel.
You can't go beyond.
You can't go beyond.
Thank you.
So the people are already taking prudent measures to ensure that they will have enough fuel to outlast, or at least to mitigate whatever hardship would befall countries or their country if this war protracts. And then we have to deal with inflation. Fuel is the major driver of inflation because it goes into everything. It goes into everything. I mean, when we were saying that, well, truck drivers should reduce their prices, immediately the fuel price comes out, that argument will now be invalid. because they are going to recover costs. So it will go up. And cost of inputs, production will go up. So if the war protracts, it will affect our standard of living, whether we like it or not. That's why many people are worried. America, sometimes I say that, well, I think Trump played it smart on us, on the whole world. When he took Venezuela first, before going to Iran. Why?
Mind you, Venezuela is #1 proven reserves. Iran is #3 proven reserves.
So when he took Venezuela first, it meant that he had guaranteed himself
yes.
some level of supplies.
Yes. So he will get it.
He will get it.
Glad you are smart.
You understand? So I said, this man, strategically, I think that this one, there's no debate on it. And this is not the time to start to play smart and say we have 5 weeks reserves and so people should not worry. In fact, this is the time we should be worrying. So what do we do now? And I agree with you when you say that we should have strategic stocks, reserves. We've spoken about this for a very long time. Somehow we've not brought in ourselves to implementing it. Why countries have strategic reserves is precisely because of what is happening. But even this war should not have come as a surprise to anybody.
True.
So 4 or 5 years ago, or 4 or 5 years, because this thing started at the time of Obama, who had to enter into negotiations with Iran. That those negotiations were continued under Biden. Okay, so we knew that the United States of America was not comfortable with the rate at which Iran was enriching uranium. We knew, and that it was a major problem. The International Atomic Energy Commission came in. Now, then Trump takes over. Then enter Israel and his security concerns. So Donald and Israel combining in terms of pursuing their strategic interests. Clearly we knew the situation in the Middle East would be unstable. So I think that we should have been planning long ago. Long ago. And thank God, West Africa and the Gulf of Guinea area, we have some reserves, some oil, crude. And our government, in times of need in the past, we had to run to Equatorial Guinea. Sometimes we had to run to Nigeria. Yeah, so I think that we should activate those things and see those levers of power and look elsewhere to see whether at least we can assure ourselves. Okay. But as for the price of oil, we are all, if you want to bet, you can bet that.
We should expect it. Dr. Norman, I'll come to you. Was this attack really necessary in the first place? Was it really necessary?
My brother, thank you for the opportunity and sitting at the same table with these eminent scholars and analysts.
We are trotro drivers, so he's a trotro.
We
are trotro drivers. He's a trotro.
Duncan's analysis is more scholastic than you can ever think of any economist. From the point of view of the United States of America, the attack was very necessary.
Okay.
The reason is that Iran has actually come after the U.S. on numerous occasions, starting from 1979, when some 59 Americans were taken hostage for 440 days. That was to demoralize America as a superpower. And a lot of things did happen that time. Then, in Lebanon, the Marine hostel was also bombed, even before that other activities happened. And we lost 200 American Marines in that event. And so this kind of thing has been going on. Iran has been sponsoring Hezbollah. And this is why our Ghanaian soldiers were hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. Yemen is also another proxy for Iran. And also, Iran has killed, in the last year or so, has killed over 30,000 of its citizens for just demanding for political and social change. Because the testosterone level in Iran is very high. The views of women they don't count at all. And you cannot continue to basically kill your own citizens for asking for basic human rights. The United Nations is not doing much to protect citizens in each country. So from the point of view of the United States, the Iran war had to happen. In 1996, the Koba Towers was attacked. 9/11, 300 American citizens in New York were killed. And Iran in 1983 sponsored attack on U.S. Embassy in Beirut. 19 diplomats died. And in 2023, Hamas attacked Israel. Some of the dead were U.S. citizens. And I can keep on going on and on. And I think the Americans that were captured in 1979 were 52 of them that were kept for 440 days. So Trump saw that Iran's administration is a bit weak. So the whole thing started with the bombing of the nuclear facilities. That is just a ruse, that is just a cover to really try to demolish the ruling system, because the goal is not only about regime change, the goal is also about control of oil in the area. But they didn't want to make the same mistake as Bush did with Iraq. Yeah. And that's why they are covering it up with regime change. But the purpose, as we saw from Venezuela, according to honorable submission, just to protect their supply of oil. Now, America cannot just sit idle and have things happen like that. And they've been very successful in many, many ways in the attack. But it's not going to be the end. It has the cost to society, the global economy, is too huge. We're going to feel it. But Trump said, if the price rise, let it rise. I love that. Because he is well covered.
Yeah, he secured
but the rest of us. This morning on CNN, Trump said he's going to make a provision for $20 billion for insurance for the tanker, the ships, the vessels through the Strait of Hormuz and other places to be able to move so that the supply will continue. I think he's very much aware of the consequences to the world economy, because on the stock market, every stock has dropped, not just in New York, but in just about any of the big capitals in the world. So was it right for America to attack Iran? Yes. The talk that Iran will never surrender is full of testosterone. Your people are being killed. Your cities are being destroyed. Thousands of rockets have been launched on your city. How long do you want the destruction to continue? Israel and the United States say they are now going to do the next wave of attacks. I don't know when this will stop, but they want to intensify the attacks on Iran in order to bring them to the table. Iran is also destroying a lot of cities in communities in Israel. But what I don't like about what Iran has done is trying to implode other nations into the war in order to put pressure on the United States. Well, when you do that and they also respond, there will be no Iran anymore. It's a beautiful country, even though it is very difficult to get in and out of it. But I think sense should prevail. The United Nations is not doing what it's supposed to be doing right now. The world powers are not doing that. It's as if everybody is afraid to pull the parties together to talk, because it is only by coming to the table together and discussing their issues. Trump wants to be part of the regime, the new regime, the new leadership. Well, that's not his role. That is not his role. That is an exclusive domain of the sovereign powers of Iran. Why do you want to be part of it? You don't have the right to be there.
Is it because he did in Venezuela and no one spoke about it, so he feels he can do same?
Was he part of the role? He wasn't. The vice president took over. Well, how was he part of the party? He wasn't part of it.
He was.
They ousted Maduro.
Yeah, let's go in there, pick the guy out.
The vice president.
They installed.
I'm saying that you would have been part of
American
it.
forces
You would have been
installed.
part of it if you skipped the person who was naturally to be there. But the vice president took over. So how are you part of it? It's a natural progression.
In fact, they needed his permission before she could take
Well,
over.
either or, for me, where I sit, if a vice president takes over in the absence of the president, how can somebody say they are part of the process? But that's my logic. I'm just saying that if you skip them, let's say you brought the defense minister to be president, then you say that, no, I chose.
But why are you arguing with Trump for what? Trump himself says that.
Yeah, they now have. They have
he
a
wants,
government
he
that
wants
works
to
with
do
them.
in
Iran,
what he
yes,
has done
they
in
have done
Venezuela.
it in
Oh,
Venezuela.
I mean,
He has installed the government.
there is time, I mean, we all will find out.
He has installed the government.
I think the earlier they end this war, the better. Because on both sides, a lot of Israeli cities are being destroyed, but they don't want the media to cover it. But Iran has been quite open to allow BBC and CNN to go there and show the world what is happening. My fear is that the United States is going to go to a real non-kinetic warfare by undermining the electronic devices, water supply, electricity supply, and railway system, traffic light system, because anything that is controlled by electronics and by computers, they can easily undermine it and stop it from operating. Who is going to suffer? It's not the power brokers, the elite members of the Iranian society. It's the average Joe Blow or a Fiamensa on the street that's going to suffer. So for me, I want this thing to end as quickly as possible. Because if they go to that level, this is why Russia has promised Iran, if you need supersonic equipment, we will give you. North Korea has also made the same commitment. I wish these powers don't come into the whole thing. Because if they come into it, America will not hesitate in deploring possibly a nuclear warhead.
Donama, thank you very much. Let's go on Zoom and get a view of Franklin Kojo. He's the president of Imani Africa. Franklin, thank you very much for your time. The conclusion and takeaway from the table is that we should brace ourselves for the long haul because things will get worse in the coming days, weeks, and months.
Well, good morning, my good friends in the studio. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, great. You know, I like my good brother, my good senior, who just spoke. Name Brad. Anyway,
Dr. Norman.
You know, we need this. Dr. Norman, we need this type of laser-focused analysis. In any case, look, I am worried that or probably I shouldn't be too worried. I think this war would end sooner than later because, fact of the matter is, if you're looking at the analysis so far, Iran, unless maybe Russia and co join, really, I don't see how they don't have Syria, they don't have the Hezbollah and all those people to be helping. And I think it's becoming increasingly clear that I think they should give up. I really think they should give up because if they stick to the notion that they will die together with all sorts of people, I think it is reckless. And I think Trump, I've always said that war is a senseless war. But the way it's going now, clearly one person is dominating or two people are dominating. And frankly, the carnage is too much. I don't see how many missiles has Iran flown since then. I think it's reduced significantly. So look, I think it's about time. Anyway, they will not listen. So probably I'm just shooting blanks. But it's important that we also brace ourselves. And I think the conversation that happened, Duncan and Onabuenusa race, very, very also important. I think this whole idea of, how do I call it, national sovereignty when it comes to certain strategic, should I call it resources, it's really about time. And I think it's doable. Duncan has told me without number that boss should be giving some leverage so that they can store fuel. He's been saying this forever. Nobody seems to be listening to him. Maybe the reserves that Ato is envisaging should be channeled into some of these things. But anyway, look, it is what it is. I fear that this will continue for a while, and 5 weeks import cover, whatever they call it, clearly does not hold water. I don't think it will help us at all. But all powers, whether with the middle powers or northern powers or southern powers, should come on board and talk to Iran. I think it is important that, look, Iran should just give up the ghost. Seriously speaking, at this stage, there's nothing really they can do. As I said, I foresee this war ending within 5 weeks. That's my preliminary comment.
But then, Franklin, if Iran says they are not going to give up, we know the Russia-Ukraine war, despite all the attacks happening in Ukraine is still holding on to the fight. So why would one want to advise Iran to also give up?
Well, Iran is not Ukraine. As you realize, Ukraine is technically, in spite of the fact that Iran has over 6,000 years of civilization, that civilization is not what we have today. I'm sorry. The guys we have right now, some of them are just murderous fools. And I don't think they're like Persia, which used to be very, very great. And so they don't even have the technique. They may have the technical capacity, but as we speak right now, look, where are they going to fly? Apart from the drones that are helping them, which are the Americans will find a way of neutralizing the drones very soon. Then what happens? You really cannot continue on this path. And I think it's about time they really need to get them and talk. It is a sad situation, unfortunately, but as I said, the whole world will suffer for it. But as I insist, they may decide that they want to have a long mujahideen type of war, guerrilla warfare. But to what end, really? You know, and don't forget that they still would find all those people who would come up as stubborn people, and then they annihilate them. And what do you want to do as a country? It is really sad, really, really sad. You know, if Iran were such a country that respected their own citizens, I mean, I don't think that people would not be this. But look, how many Arab countries have actually condemned the whole thing? Have you asked yourself? How many Arab countries have condemned the Israeli assault and American assault on Iran? Because Iran is being renegade, really. And anyway, we are not discussing Iran's misbehavior. I think we are discussing the impact of what it would mean for us. And I think.
Hello, Franklin. Franklin. I'm afraid we've lost Franklin. Gentlemen.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
And on that score, I think it is important that we all keep on the peace, keep talking about peace, but at the same time, we should be preparing, because this will go, as I said, I don't think it will go beyond 5 weeks, but we should also prepare for an eventuality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Franklin. Gentlemen, let's wrap up on this particular topic. 2 minutes each. I started with you and then I come back. You seem to be disagree with a number of things, Franklin.
No, it's something that Franklin said that I don't know where he gets it from. You can't compare Ukraine to Iran. Iran is a far bigger in terms of revenue, in terms of technology, in terms of advancement than Ukraine. You can never compare Ukraine to Iran. Iran is a much bigger country. It's a much advanced technology, resources, everything than Ukraine. So if Ukraine can hang on this long to Russia, which is next door to him, you understand? The proximity of the Ukraine to Russia, everybody thought Russia would have overrun Ukraine by now. But look at how long they've hung on. So please, let not anybody think that. I heard something that Iran, one of the people they interviewed out of Iran said, he said that at this point, surrender is more scarier than fighting. That's what the guy, yes, he said to surrender now Because look, you go into a country, on the first day, you take out their supreme leader, you take out their defense minister, you take out the CDS, you take out the top,
The supreme leaders.
you take, yes. What is left? To them now, what is left? Their dignity is what is left. So for me, look, if we keep going this line of U.S. Supreme and all, yes, we know. Look, it's like a big boy, macho guy, finding a small boy that he wants to eat him. We all know with that structure, you can beat the boy. But one thing is likely to happen. That boy will do
Not
something.
necessarily. David and Goliath.
No, exactly. The point I'm going to make, that the boy, the young boy, might pull a surprise. Might pull a surprise. That's the point. You see, look, nobody doubts America's ability to flatten Iran. Nobody doubts that. But the point is that Iran might pull a surprise.
Yes.
That is what, and then you see, doctor said, why are they bringing everybody into it? It's a simple psychological factor. If we are not comfortable, nobody should be comfortable. It's as simple as that. So Iran is not comfortable. They want the whole Gulf not to be comfortable. So you remember that Dubai thought, oh, we are Dubai, what do we care? They've told Dubai, no, don't. Yes. So they brought Dubai into it. Now Dubai has a problem. Doha is in it. Qatar, this, Bahrain, everybody is now part of this headache. So when you are sitting around the table, it is not just about me, Iran. It's about all of us. So that's why I'm saying that I'm very surprised. But the point I wanted to make before Franklin came in is that there was a conversation about sourcing for crude elsewhere, right, or domestically. We've always had that conversation, and it comes up that people say that why don't we give our crude to our refineries to refine? Because we have crude, which is shipped out. The issue is not about whether we have or we don't have. The issue is the jete, the money. Because bear in mind, when we ship our crude,
The money to refine
there is
it.
a law that governs our crude oil shipment. The PFMA has certain structure, the Petroleum Holding Fund, and all the things that we do with our crude. The Ministry of Finance sits comfortably waiting every month, every quarter for the receivables from our crude oil for all the other things that the law has earmarked that we use our crude for. If we decide now that for the sake of fuel security, we are going to use our internal crude, let's say it gets to that point where we feel that we can't source products from elsewhere, we are going to give our crude to Central and Tor to refine. What it means is that those accounts that receives the money from our crude oil will not get that money. You understand? So the receivables from our crude, bear in mind, the whole of 2024, we made 19.8 billion Ghana cedis in terms of revenue. 2024, 19.8 billion. 2025, we made something around, just at the end, we did about roughly 38 million barrels in 2025. The forecast revenue is what we have received till September, because the media budget is not out yet, so we don't know what the full 2025 is. But outside January to September, we have made $985 million from crude revenues. If we decide that we are going to give our crude to our internal consumption, this money, some of it will not come. And when they sell, it is only when they sell, and we will now get the revenues from there. There might be some losses in our system, so they might not get the entire money. So there's a challenge, and you might have to go to Parliament to basically make an amendment to, or pass an emergency act in Parliament to say that instead of doing this, do this. You understand? So it's not that straightforward when people say that, but why don't we give our internal crude to our refineries? And if you go to Nigeria or any other country, like we've done in Kufuor's time when we did a G2G with Nigeria, the reason that we brought in Sahara, Nigeria has the same laws as us. When the crude is lifted, within 30 to 60 days, within 30 days, the money has to be paid. And because we didn't have money at the time, we wanted some bridge financing. That's how Sahara will now pay the money in 30 days, and we pay Sahara in 60 days. You understand? So as a government, we don't have the money to pay cash. So we always need some credit. And when we did the G2G with Nigeria, they have the same laws as us. When GMPC sells, in 30 days, money should hit the Petroleum Holding Fund. if you give the money, if you give the crude to Tor or Centrio, they will not be able to pay for it in 30 days. So you might have to go to court. So you might have to go to Parliament to amend temporarily if we get there. I'm just saying that when people are having this conversation of, oh, why don't we give our own crude for our refineries to refine, you might have to change some part of the law. And Ministry of Finance has to also understand that all the monies they get when the lifting is done, they will have to hold on. And it would affect a number of things in terms of government finances. The problem my brother has and the NDC has is that they can't use the Israeli-Iran war as an excuse. They didn't allow us to use the Russia-Ukraine as an excuse, so they cannot use the Israeli-Iran as an excuse. So they should be able to man this country, and nobody wants to hear anything about Iran-Israel. That is the problem they have, because they never allow the MPP to use, and whenever you mention Russia and Ukraine, hey, massa, even you, the journalists, were helping them.
But the Russia-Ukraine war is still on, but yet we are seeing improvement in the economy.
But you see, that's the point. You see, they said that water always finds its level. When the law protracts, the world equilibrium shifts. This war that we are talking about now, if it goes on for more than, Russia was going for 3 years, more than 3 years. So the equilibrium has shifted. People have found, fourth year, right? Yes, wheat, oil, before Ukraine was, they grains, or they produce grains. Russia is the biggest exporter of crude oil, right? And all those things. But initially, there's a shock to the system. Then as time goes on, the system now finds different ways to now get equilibrium. So the initial first-year shock that it caused the world has changed, because the world has found other ways to work around it. This war, if it lasts for even 6 months, the initial shock will be dire. Then after a while, if it goes on for more than 1 year, the world equilibrium will work around it. And the war could still be going on, but our lives will move on and people will find other ways. But don't discount the initial shock. So the initial shock of the Russia-Ukraine war was there. When you realize that container to China, right? When you now realize that you ship things, container was about 2,500 per container. When the Russian-Ukraine war started, because of the disruption in world supply chain, containers were costing $12,000. Okay, so there is a cascaded effect in the world economy when something starts. Then when it lasts for longer, the world equilibrium will shift and we will now live with it. You understand? So that is why now the Russia-Ukraine is still going on, but nobody really sees the impact of it. There's a new war. Like I said, they have a challenge. Nobody in Ghana wants to hear the NDCCs on TV and say that, oh, this is happening because of Israel, Iran.
Kojo, Ghana is Ghana.
Respond. I'm coming to you.
Honorable, let me remind him that Ghana is a democratic country. Every citizen, every entity, every party has a freedom of expression. So your statement cannot stop any political party to use the Ukraine.
I'm not saying you cannot say it. They say it, but we don't want to hear it.
But the MPP used the Ukraine COVID for why everybody, children were suffering. According to the vice president, teachers were suffering. It became a song.
Right.
So the moment you say suffering, then we continue. Children are suffering. Now, this government, with all due respect, I don't want to politicize anything. For now, at least we have as much as 5 weeks supply. That will allow space for planning as to what to do next. Let us give credit when people are doing good, and let us criticize them.
No, that's fine. All I'm saying is that the problem my brother
if you are on the same level,
thank you. The problem my brother has
when Kojo was speaking, he was not listening to himself. On this table, we have unanimously agreed that this war will lead to an increase in fuel prices.
That's it.
You led the charge.
No, you led the charge. But on the political side, I don't want to come and say it. You said it. I don't want you to come and say it.
So you see, prudent commercial behavior is different from political behavior. The matter is that we are looking at a situation that might impact even these good things that are happening.
Yeah.
And on this table, I say that Duncan's suggestion that we must begin thinking seriously about building strategic stock is rational.
Yeah.
Okay? And so this is how we should approach the issue. Let me do some little modification to your liftings problem on 2 grounds. One, if there's a war situation, then we cannot get crude anywhere. The doctrine of necessity will allow us to take over the crude that is being produced in Ghana and refine it for use. That's the first thing.
Yes.
The second thing is that if things were even normal, in the liftings arrangement, we have one lifting in that arrangement. That is our lifting. We can decide that we want to refine our lifting. And that will not disturb the fiscal regime at all. It will not. The partners only lift on our behalf, sell it, and bring us the money. We can decide that, well, this time, it's just the same arrangement that goes to royalties, the big mining companies. We are entitled to royalties at a certain royalty rate. We can decide. We want the product. We don't want the money. You can decide that way. So it is not a question of going to law. To court. To Parliament to amend. It's just that we can exercise a preemptive right. It's in the law. Now the second thing is Sahara. Yes, it's true. But now I see where the goal for reserve idea came from.
Which is what?
You see, they brought in Sahara. And Sahara only told them, and you have to understand how the business is done in Nigeria. It was the Nigerians, it was not Ghana, that suggested that Sahara should lift the oil for Ghana.
No, should give the bridge financing.
It was Nigeria.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying you didn't have the money. You don't
Yeah,
have
so
the money.
I'll not talk about the political economy of that.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the political economy
Yes.
of that.
Yes.
I'm just saying that it was Nigeria that said, well, if you want us to give you oil, you must deal with Sahara.
Okay, you go.
Yeah. So Sahara said, so we'll give the brief financing. Nigeria will sell and take 30 days. You and for us, we can take
60 to 90 days.
60 to 90 days. But that 60 to 90 days was not free.
Of course.
We were paying
The interest. Yeah.
So when Russia-Ukraine war, go back and look at the financial statement of the Minister for Finance then, Kelo Furiata. He said, and I quote, the Russian-Ukraine war has exposed the vulnerabilities of our economy.
Yes.
So our economy already had vulnerabilities. And what are these vulnerabilities? We're dealing with weaker currency, we're dealing with inflation, we had deficit financing regime. So our economy was not stable at all. So when the war came, it exposed those vulnerabilities. That's why COVID came with comorbidities. We were already under heavy load. We were resurfacing loans. So the COVID came, we could not even get money again to borrow. So we were borrowing at higher interest rates. It helped in collapsing our economy. Little wonder that we went bankrupt. Okay?
True.
This is not the same situation in which we are.
But we still have vulnerabilities. We have a lot of vulnerabilities.
Oh,
And my fear...
the first vulnerability is
I won't catch
that
you.
our economy is linked to the global economy. That's the first vulnerability.
My fear is that the issues that would have come up in mid-year and in 2026, the Ministry of Finance will now have an excuse, but that fear would have happened anyway. I mean, what you
So
guys
I mean, I
the
agree
vulnerabilities are
that
still there.
I
Nothing has
agree
changed.
that no, it has changed.
No, nothing.
Oh
Nothing
no,
has changed.
it has changed.
Okay.
Inflation is now what?
Oh, but those are not vulnerabilities. Inflation is as a result of the vulnerability. Oh, inflation is not a vulnerability. Your vulnerability is your ability to service your debt. All those are vulnerabilities. Now, we still have that issue of servicing debt because your revenue shortfalls, you see, when
allow him to make
inflation is not part of
just
the
allow him to make
vulnerabilities.
his point.
Okay, you can go ahead. So, sorry.
So you might as well say that deficit is not part of our vulnerabilities. Or you will say that our exchange rate regime is not part of our vulnerabilities. If you argue that way. And I'm saying that if you argue that way, you will be totally wrong. Because if your exchange rate is too weak, and you were dealing with that, and then Ukraine-Russia war comes,
Something little drops on you. You're already limping.
you're going to have a problem. True. So if your debt is unsustainable, but you are managing it, then the international capital market is locked. Your debt position is a vulnerability.
True.
So this is what, and I'm saying that when COVID came, we came into the understanding that you could have comorbidities. That when you have too many or underlying vulnerabilities and there's an external shock, you crumble. People died not because of the COVID, but because of the comorbidities, underlying vulnerabilities. That's exactly what happened to our economy. And I'm saying that the situation is different now. Today, and I'll take a leaf from what you just said, that because the war is continuing, we are learning.
True.
Because we went through COVID, as a country, we have learned. So you don't expect us to repeat the same mistakes unless we are stupid as a country. We won't repeat the same mistakes. Okay? And that is why, even for the first time, MPA has come immediately to assure us that we have reserves. Why do you think they have done that? Because we'll be thinking like we were thinking before now. And it is the responsibility of MPA to say, oh, no, the situation is a little bit different. In 2022, we didn't have that level of stock available. Now we do have. But that means that, like we have all said, we need to plan. The planning starts now. We don't have to wait until the 5 weeks or 4 weeks reserve is gone, then we start planning. No, we'll be caught by pants down. I wanted to go into the war. Like when I sit down with doctor, I learn a lot. But today, I think that there is something fundamentally wrong with the way doctor has perceived this thing. America's point of view is not the world's point of view.
That's correct.
Now, all of us as a people, we were colonies then. But after 1945, because of the failure of the 1918 arrangement, the League of Nations, we established a superstructure called the United Nations. And Article 2 of the UN Charter is very important. Pacific resolution of disputes. Why did they insert it there? Because they see the impunity leading to the 1945 Second World War. Okay? So when we start seeing, that's what McCartney has said, when we start seeing a rupture of the international order, you cannot imagine where that will lead us to. Yes. That might lead us to a Third World War. And that is why many people are not happy with the position Trump has taken, especially when they had forced Iran back to the table, and indeed they were negotiating. So you ask yourself, so in Iraq, the US war against Iraq, and that was a coalition, the coalition partners against Iraq. We knew what they were fighting for. Because Israel had said, and the international community had agreed, Colin Powell had gone to the United Nations to say that Iraq had nuclear
weapons of
mass destruction.
And so, and we know from our reading and from our understanding of what those weapons can do, that when they are in the hands of rogue states, they can annihilate us, everybody. Okay, so somehow the coalition partners all join in. You needed boots on the ground. Okay, in addition to air power. So the coalition partners came in. At that time, it was estimated that you needed between 8 and 10 soldiers to 1,000 soldiers to be able to put boots on the ground. But they got it. Today, in that time, Norman Schwarzkopf, or what was his name?
Yeah.
Schwarzkopf
Yes.
was the commander.
commander.
Today, who is the commander? Who is commanding this action? Have they sent the matter to the United Nations? It appears that Trump has upended the UN system. And you see it all through, even his first term. You remember his encounter with Macron? See, even his first term, you could see that he appears more as a unilateralist.
A bully.
Going it alone. And that is our problem as the international world order, where we have come to a consensus that there should be a way of doing things. One man is diplomacy, dialogue and diplomacy, the double D, to take center stage in the resolution of disputes concerning countries, nations. My lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Mensah Bonsu, now Justice of the Supreme Court, said that it is not for nothing that God has given us a tongue. So that we can communicate our differences and understand each other and try to find solutions to them. When we refuse to talk to each other, we exacerbate conflict.
Okay.
So that's my problem. So regime change is going to be scary. Going to be very scary. And you said it.
I said it.
You said, yeah, it's going to be very scary. Because you take away the command and control structures.
And hand over power.
To who?
Like what happened in Iraq.
To who? So like happened in Iraq, like happened in Libya.
And these two countries never recovered. They
Because
never
you have
recovered.
taken away the command and
They
control
never
structures.
recovered, yeah.
The things that makes them a
A
nation.
nation. Probably, I thought he had learned that experience. That's why he did what he did in Venezuela. To leave command and control in place, let the system proceed as if it is still normal, put pressure on the system to respond to the concerns of the American people and the people of Venezuela in ways that will bring democracy. Okay? Never mind that the ultimate was to go for the oil. Okay, but now it's different. Now the Iraqis, when you listen to them, they are more confused. Because they do not know where to run to. True. What will emerge? Who are these people to take over? They do not know. So it is a journey to the unknown. And that's the problem. That's the problem that we are going to face.
Honorable, the situation is evolving. And I believe that there is a strategy in place, and it's being laid out slowly. So if it's regime change that they want, they already have a plan, and they already identified people that will probably...
But are you sure it's regime change? Because
it's part
now
of it. It's part of the strategy.
Part of a strategy.
Yes.
Trump has not told us that it's regime change.
Oh, he has said it.
Yesterday,
Yes,
yeah? Okay.
he has.
If it is regime change, now I hear them saying that, well, probably the best people to help us change the regime are the Kurds.
No, he wanted them to fight.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but that is
but you think the Kurdish, the Iranians will sit for the Kurdish coming over?
the larger question is even the Kurds are not in one country.
Yes.
No.
So when you bring in the Kurds into Iran,
Yes.
you are causing destabilization in Turkey,
Yes.
you are causing destabilization in Iraq.
True. True.
There's a bigger problem.
But you see, I have followed Trump for a very long time. In fact, a lot of my business approach, I learned it from his
him.
writings. And when he says, let's negotiate, be ready that he's just there to learn your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And then he's going to use it against you.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
So that is his approach, and I think by now all the leaders in the world should know how he thinks about things. We saw a bit of it during the tariffs war, and the way he was calling the presidents to come and negotiate. And sometimes he just wants to know how weak are you to bend to wherever he pushes the football or the goalpost. And when he sees that you are, it's all part of the strategy that we've seen that Europe has become so quiet. Why are they so quiet?
Because they were misled. In the Iraqi...
And then again,
Because I had the British Prime Minister address a press conference, I think yesterday.
He said the U.S. can use its bases to attack Iran or to support
initially
defensive-
he
defensive.
declined.
Yes.
Initially he declined.
In the beginning, he
Then
declined,
Trump
but now he's
went
trying to
on
play
an
ball.
offense or an
Yeah.
attack.
Yes.
Trump actually took on even Spain.
Yes.
And called them names.
Yes.
You see,
Which you don't want to
the
repeat.
global system is none safer with what happened.
No.
The global system. And listen, Sammi, in all of this discourse, you know who the biggest beneficiary of this war is? Do you know?
Tell me.
Russia.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest beneficiary of what is happening in Iran now is Russia. And I'll tell you why. Kuwait is supplying 70% of gas to Europe. You know, when you hear Iran deploying missiles towards Kuwait, there's a reason. Kuwait has had to go under force majeure to shut that gas processor, which is probably the mainstay of their economy. So the gas is no longer going to move from the Middle East to Kuwait. The next biggest shot to supply gas to anybody in Europe is Russia.
Russia.
But it's under sanctions.
Wait, the US just yesterday has decided to release some of the sanctions. So you see, there's quite a lot happening. So why Russia may not be in a hurry to go in fully with, you know, weapons, although they are also secretly helping Iran, because some of the missiles that you are seeing today, you know, some of them, the drones, the 20,000 drones, that is fast depleting the THAAD, the US, you know, their air defense systems.
Yeah.
You are building between $1 million to $3 million an air defense system that shoots, you know, a $20,000 drone. So eventually, you may get to a point where the US itself is tired. Because per the BBC's report, it is costing the United States of America almost $1 billion daily.
Daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, to do that.
Yeah.
And you wonder whether the American economy would want to suffocate under this sort of pressure. So don't be surprised when you hear the Senate of the United States vote 53-47, right, to now block some of the war powers of Trump.
But they were not successful.
Well, at least they got
For now.
You see?
Because it's not
So-
hitting
so-
anybody's pocket for now.
Yeah.
So
When they see, because they don't have money. No, one of the biggest
you see,
things is that they don't have money.
and they owe the most.
They don't have money.
Yeah.
You owe
They
the
don't have
most.
money.
Other you see, Sammi, let me come to some of the points Kojo raised. The
To wrap
oil
up this
resource.
subject.
The oil resource. I do not agree with Kojo that if you decide to nationalize or to refine locally, we will not get the money. You refine, you still sell.
Sell.
You recoup the CD equivalent of whatever you are getting. But the challenge we have here with our refineries is that we've not again invested in them.
Them, yeah.
So you have a tour under a new management working very hard to get the plant running. But it's just like you driving a very old taxi, Sammi. No matter how well you dress, how well you try to change your tires,
You
here
go to the
and
shop
there,
all the time.
you will be at the shop a lot of the time. So I would say this. Either TOR decides, right, that government would help it with, you know, a modular, you know, what you call a reformer chamber. Because you want TOR to be able to produce the RON 95.
The catalytic.
No, those plants exist already, but you would need something to modify.
A desulfurizer.
A desulfurizer is another thing, and a reformer chamber.
Okay.
The desulfurizer will take out a lot of the sulfur content,
The PPM will come
so that the diesel you produce can be cleaner. That's what we import from Europe.
Yeah.
So while the BDCs are comfortable bringing from Europe, those refineries can give you 10 ppm. TOR has been configured to do 1,500 and 3,000 ppm. And the higher the count, the dirtier the product. So it is a lot easier to go for the cleaner from Europe. What do you need? You need a desulfurizing plant in there, so that whatever diesel is coming out of the refinery, you can at least remove a substantial part of the sulfur and make the diesel cleaner. A reformer chamber to also make the fuel, the petrol itself, that you are also bringing onto the market a lot better, like the RON 91, the 95.
So, let me ask you a question.
So investment.
So, once upon a time, we knew that TOR had problems. Then we imposed a TOR recovery levy. Where's the money?
Where is the money, Elijah?
Elijah.
No, it's not part of
No.
it.
It's part of it.
You
No,
say-
it was collapsed into a stock. It is part of it.
Kojo, wait.
Where's the
Kojo, wait.
Where's the?
Kojo, wait.
Where's the?
I have said this, and I think it's high time we do papers on them. In 2003, when the TOR recovery levy was brought about, the idea was that TOR had some debts that we needed to clear. And the trot driver, the teacher, the nurse, everybody who buys fuel should pay for it. We've all paid for it. The finance ministry has now decided to make that money a part of a revenue stream instead of giving it to TOR. So if you ask TOR today, there's a lot of monies that they have in their name. That's
But they don't receive it.
They don't receive
So
it.
I ask the question on purpose. So if you are these things that you are
The desulfurizer and the reformer chamber.
Right. So if we have a TOR recovery levy and that it has accrued some money, why don't we? That's the money for TOR.
We have blown the money long ago.
No.
We are blowing the money.
If we blown the money, we blown it on
the
debt.
natural-
It's a
yes.
debt.
So it's a debt. We need to find a way to pay.
Yes,
I
it's a
agree.
debt.
Sammi, so we are not investing in our refineries. And that is why it's a lot easier to import finished products than buying from TOR. Look, if you put TOR on stream today, whatever it will produce, you cannot consume in Ghana. And I'm putting it on record. Yes. For petrol, for diesel, the standards have way moved past what the plant was configured to do. And so though the management is pushing hard, working hard to try to make the plant, viable, whatever you put in there, if you need to bring it out, you need to blend again. Otherwise, you can't sell. You are doing 10 ppm or 50 ppm for diesel. TOR is doing 1,500 ppm. And the 1,500, if you put in your car, clearly you are going to get a lot of harmful emissions because sulfur is very harmful.
Even when you go and they're filling your car and you stand by the pump,
Yes.
You smell
Exactly. So we have failed to invest. I am asking my bigger brother, the Honorable Finance Minister, pay a closer attention to your refining in Ghana. It's important. Right? The countries that advance, they put their refineries ahead of every other thing. They don't want to spend hard cash, the dollar you don't have, importing finished product. If you have a refinery, you can produce them locally. And you can even get, at the end of the day,
that's what I
your
wrote for my
But you see,
for
your
my master's in petroleum distance.
For what that-
When TOR was built, Ghana did not have crude.
Yeah, crude at
TOR
all.
was built as a tolling
tolling plant.
Exactly.
and now so many years down the line, we now have crude.
Now that you have crude.
We don't have
Sammi,
But the problem
you see,
that,
are you,
for what Duncan is explaining, right, and it's the point I've always made, and that fits into the politics of when the NDC came and said that the MPP government tried to sell TOR. Nobody tried to sell TOR. The decision. No, let me.
Duncan is wrapping up on this subject. We have two other issues to discuss. We have two other issues to discuss.
He's saying something. He's saying something. It's very important. It's very, very important.
I'm not
allow
He keeps saying that. Hold on. Listen to this. He keeps saying that. He keeps saying that the finance minister needs to find money to invest in Tor.
Yes.
We have always known that the owner, the 100% shareholder of Tor, needs to invest money in Tor. The biggest challenge is that the government of Ghana, who is the 100% shareholder of Tor, doesn't have the money to invest.
He has the money.
Does not.
He has the
Well,
money.
let's give them money. I'm saying to you that, look, I have said this 6 months ago, that in the end, we will come back to that conversation
This is the
of
argument they
a
use.
strategic investor
Yes,
in Tor.
This is the argument
But
they
they
use.
stole the money.
But that is-
Kojo, they stole the money.
doesn't have the
Wait,
money.
But some years ago,
Let's leave it.
I remember
We will come back to that issue of strategic
I remember a
investment.
year or two ago, we had news of a strategic
Go and ask
investor.
Atol sourcing to find the money and give it to us. He doesn't have it.
It's the office of the special prosecutor who halted the sale.
No, he did not.
It was-
How
it
did
was-
he hold that still? But brother, let's not change this
You
conversation.
are bringing it up.
Does not have that money. He's talking about.
I need to go for a break, so in 30 seconds.
You've taken my time. Then go for the break and come back.
Okay, in 1 minute, I'll do 1 minute
Thank
for
you. You see, moving away from Tor, you will need to expand Bost equally. Bost. You didn't build Bost in '93 just to become another trading wing, like another BDCO. That's not the thinking. No. So when in the past I hear Bost come to us and say, oh, we've made profits, I only tell myself you've lost your way. It's like you sent your child to school, right? Then he comes back to say that, oh, they caught some grass cutter in the bush. That's not what I sent you to do. Come back to me with a report, right? Bulk oil storage, I repeat this. Bulk oil storage and transportation. And I'm happy my senior is here. You've been given a clear, well-defined mandate, right? Develop a bulk storage, facility, right? And add transportation, pipelines, railway, if anything, to be able to move products across the country. We've deceived ourselves. I got to a point, Sammi, we were saying now it's no longer bulk oil storage, it's bulk energy storage. See, Sammi, I'm sorry. Get the money if possible. Invest a little also to expand the facilities at Bost. So that tomorrow, when other countries are talking of 7 months of cover, you would not only have
about 10.
You can talk about at least 5 months. But when you are talking of 5 weeks, it tells you how badly you have failed to plan for your people.
You see how useful Trump's attack is for us?
You said?
How useful Trump's attack is for us?
Listen, the writings have been on, and Sammi, you see, beyond even the war situation.
We had a meeting.
There's
We had a meeting in Boston.
Yes,
This thing.
we've discussed with them.
Just this about 4 or 5 months ago.
We've discussed them.
On
Sammi,
certain margins that should be moved.
Okay, Kojo, I need to pay bills.
You see,
Just a minute, thank
Sammi,
you.
go and come.
You're still watching The Big Issue live from ChannelOne Television, live on City 97.3 FM. We'll go for a quick. When we come back, we'll discuss Galamsey. We are told that over 9,000 hectares of land have been destroyed through Galamsey or illegal mining. How do we deal with this issue? And have we lost the fight against illegal mining? Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Issue, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra, also live on City 97.3 FM. My name is Sammi Wiafe. We're going to discuss Galamsey. We are told by the Forestry Commission that over 9,000 hectares of land have been destroyed between the period of 2021 and 2024 through Galamsey or illegal mining. Since 2017, a number of policies, programs, and initiatives have been implemented to fight illegal mining or deal with illegal mining decisively. But then over the years, looks like the fight is failing. Looks like people are still actively doing Galamsey or illegal mining. The political effect, is it that the politicians or the political leaders or the political heads are not serious enough to deal with this issue of Galamsey? Or maybe there's something that needs to be done, a re-strategy or re-strategize in getting this whole fight of illegal mining against Galamsey, on. So we deal with the continuous destruction of the environment. But before I come to the studio, let me go on Zoom and pick the final thought of Franklin Kojo on the first subject, which is the Middle East attacks and its effect across the world. Franklin, if you are still on, your friends here in the studio believe that it's about time we revive the Tema Oil refinery so that we don't get, I'm afraid Franklin Kujo, I'm told, is not on Zoom. When he comes back, I'll get his final thoughts on this matter. Alaj, I'll start the next subject with you. Okay, my producers,
You're going to let me finish.
I'll give you the opportunity. I'm told Franklin is back on Zoom. Let me get his final thoughts on this conversation of the attacks currently underway in the Middle East and its economic impact here in Ghana and in Africa as well. Franklin,
Yes.
your colleagues here in the studio believe that it's about time we revive the Tema Oil refinery, so at least the effect does not hit hard on us.
Well, indeed. Why not? It was with euphoria when the Tema Oil refinery was announced that it was coming back on stream. I mean, I was given a courtesy visit. I think Duncan and I were supposed to go, but somehow I went earlier. And I saw the tremendous work that had been done. At the back of my mind, I felt that there was going to be some constant flow of resources, which is the crude. It looks as if that has stumbled a bit. And so I'm yet to hear what management is planning to do. I hear the president suggested that he was going to help do one or two things. I think we should get that thing quickly. And what Duncan says exactly is what we should be doing, including the Honorable Inusa. I think, and Kojo, it's important that we treat Tor as a vital asset. And it's important that we find resources. Probably now we should run faster because, as you all know, each day you wait, there's that problem. So I think the store thing is probably ready. This is the best time. Actually, the conversation should have happened earlier, actually, and then of course bust. And so I think they must be used for what we actually wanted to do, and not politicians, milking it. And it was nearly sold, almost sold for scrap, really, under the last administration. So I think this is the time we need to really make it. And I think the leadership there is a serious leadership. And the guidelines from the likes of Duncan and Inusa and Kojo, they should be able to do well, really. I agree entirely that we need that.
Should we bring in the private sector to help? Because it looks like government alone is unable to revive it.
Well, it's not about, when you say private sector, do you mean private sector coming in as in
money? A private investor.
Okay. Well, why not? I mean, clearly speaking, his money has no color except when it is being handled by government officials. Then its color changes and all kinds of things. So, unfortunately, I think the best thing to do is to have private capital, not the crony capitalist arrangement that we nearly had, which nearly sold that thing for scrap. We needed real private sector people. Some of these people give capitalism a bad name. Some criminals running around claiming they are private sector people the capitalism a bad name. It is a good system if you get the right people, you have the right government that doesn't want to become avaricious and eat from the private sector, ask bribes even ahead before they join forces. And that I see with this current administration, I don't think they will do that. It's important to get the private sector participation. And indeed, I remember when I met the gentleman, Combat, nice name by the way, Combat, with a K. I think Combat was clear as to what he needs to do. And I did suggest to him that, look, you also need significant private capital. The challenge he tells me though is that, some of these also come on the back of all kinds of deals. I said you should be able to see through. You're a lawyer as well. So see through. Tell the president, look, we can't have this guy, we can't have this guy, we can't have this guy. And I suspect that, as Duncan says, even if we didn't have that private sector readiness, somehow there are so much money that has been taken in the name of Tor. Probably should say, maybe we should go back for that money. But look, we need a serious investor. But at this stage, I would rather the investor has probably 45% and the state has more because the current management is the right guy. The right guys are in power. And I suspect that if you can tweak that thing a little bit with a serious private sector capital, please. It's not just anybody who walks about who is a private sector person. Some of them are vampires, so it's important to get the right guys. And I suspect the right guys will come. It is possible. It's possible.
Franklin,
Because without that, they will be burning cash.
stay with me as I begin the next round of conversation. Galamsey, we are told by the Forestry Commission that between 2021 and 2024, over 9,000 hectares of land, was destroyed through illegal mining or Galamsey. Have we lost the fight against illegal mining? Because we know the fight started from 2017 till date. We still have people actively engaged in Galamsey or illegal mining. Should we just give up? Should we just give up and say, Charlie, I'm sure,
My brother, we don't love ourselves. I don't think we love ourselves at all. And I think what is really happening is funny. I mean, this is the first time we are hearing the equivalence of, is it 9 or 10 football fields that get destroyed every day? Which is why I find it a mockery when the EPA or somebody suggested some dechemicalization as some sort of so. I said, we are just laughable characters. Look, we know the people. The president recently said, and I think the president needs to be harder as well. We know if he knows the people, well, go for them, go for the big guys. why we tell? It's like, what was it? Aesop that said in his fables that we hang the petty thieves and appoint the great ones into office. I mean, the greater ones are lurking around, engaging in collusion and all of that stuff, and we know everything that occurs in. You think the military they don't know? They know. If even the police know, if they are looking for you, Dr. Norman will tell you, if they are looking for you for doing something wrong, they'll find you. Even if you are in middle left, they'll look for you. Are they trying to say that these people, we don't know all the people who are engaging in Galamsey in a defined territory like Ghana? It's akin to being told that, oh, we are there and some elements of space, aliens are attacking us, we can't see them. Really? That we don't know all of this. So the responsibility goes back to the state. We accused Nanado for sleeping on the job. Well, he was an absentee landlord for a long time, by the way. So we accuse him for sleeping on the job. But I think they were running rings around him. I suspect Nanado probably was the only person who was not engaged in Galamsey. I'm serious. From the Jubilee at that time, who didn't know anything about Galamsey because they're running rings around him. John Doe, I think John knows a lot of the people who, and like he said recently, we know those who engage in Galamsey. So we should go for them. Let's not wait another tragedy. And then no decriminalization, please. They should stop that joke because that thing, unless you finished everything and you want to treat the water, maybe at the source. Otherwise, it's like trying to quench fire in a large estate, and then you alone holding some very rickety airplane, and then you are spreading fire across. The fire will really consume you as well. So please, it is important that we get things right. We are tired. We are tired of talking about. And there's something suspicious, by the way. It looks to me though that the fact that this has not become an uproar, we are not angry so much. It's simply because maybe NIMOS is doing this where we are not hearing so much. They've been doing some good work, but it appears though that the goodwill of this government seems to be peppering all over some of these evils that are still continuing. And as we hear from the likes of the president who says, look, Galamsey is still going on, we need people. Mr. President, enough of the talk. The honeymoon is over. Get to work. Get the Galamseyers. Let's deal with them and let's have some refined water. Because we can't go on like that. I mean, look, oil is going to swallow us. We may not be able to pay for oil. Then the next thing you do is even water, you're not able to pay for water. What is this? We can't do these things to ourselves. I think we are tired of talking about it. We should just deal with it and go ahead with it. I asked my in-law, she's my in-law, the EPA boss. She's married from my hometown. I asked her, Madam, you said this 30 million you are going to use in refining. What? By the way, whose money are you going to use to do that thing? First of all, I don't think it's our money. Secondly, but you said you fight before you became you were given the nod. You said, you just go there like Commander 45, go there, go with helicopters, go with guns blazing, and you eliminate. What happened to that approach? But she didn't answer that question. She said, this one is like they are trying to do some tests and all of that stuff. Charlie, enough of the joke. Let's get to work and get this thing done quickly. Thank you.
Franklin, thank you very much. Koyo, I'll come to you because the period under review is under your administration, which is the MPP, because that's the period under review as announced by the Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission. Looks like your administration did Absolutely nothing. 9,000 hectares.
But you can
That's huge.
you see, if anybody says that that administration did absolutely nothing, it's really unfair. Look, let's categorize Nanado's reign from 2017 to 2020, right? And then what transpired in the election 2020, which I have spoke about numerous times, and then what transpired between 2021 and 2024. When MPP came in 2017, Galamsey was a serious problem. Because look, I go on the Ankobra. As far back as 2012, when I will go to the Ankobra and we have certain sites that we're doing some logging, because we're developing, we're picking data to do these small hydro dams on the Ankobra, so we're picking data. When we go to, there's a place called Maham. When we get to Maham on the Ankobra, the site we need to get to is on the river. So we need to now find a way to get there. We will beg the Galamsey people to give us their canoe. 2012, right? We will beg the Galamsey people to give us their canoe. And that's the canoe that will take us to the site where we take the readings. As we are going on the Ankobra in 2012, the people who are on the bed, riverbed, on the Ankobra riverbed, Galamsey on the riverbed of the Ankobra will be waving at us. So it was nothing new when MPP came in 2017. We had had 4 years of intensive Galamsey in across the country. Way before that, there was a big fight. Bear in mind, in the first 8 months of Nanado's administration, he banned, put a stop.
2 years,
complete.
not even
2 years.
Yeah.
It was for 8 years. It was for 8 months, and later expanded and went on for 2 years.
Yeah.
So we completely stopped it. There was a cry. Everybody was crying. Oh, this is people's livelihood.
Affecting local economy.
Affecting a lot of people, the civil societies, everybody, including Franklin himself, were talking that, why are we starving Ghanaians from anything? Then we looked at the operations Vanguard at the time.
Yeah.
Operation Vanguard at the time, and all the things that came into it. Nanado came out and said that I am staking my presidency on Galamsey. Then we went into election 2020. You know what happened? MPP lost all the seats in the mining areas. All. In fact, Upper Denchra, there's a traditionally MPP seat, never won by the NDC. NDC won it. In Jomoro Jura, in the Jura side of Jomo Jura, in the Jura, and this is from our internal, because of the amount of seats we lost in 2020, internally we commissioned an internal investigation. And the report that we got, one of the things that was cited as why we lost that seat was that in the Jura side of that constituency, the Galamseyers were paying the voters to vote against MPP. Wow. That is in our internal MPP report. That the Galamseyers were paying voters to vote against MPP, and we lost that seat. So when you have a president who has stuck everything on the line, and we got that 137, 138 in 2020, and we came back, you realize that the fight. Yes, I have said openly in every platform when I was contesting the flag bearership of the MPP that I give Nanado's government 85%. And the 15% was fight against Galamsey in corruption. I've said this openly, right? The reason being that the same energy we used in the first 4 years was not the same energy we had after the last 4 years. And there was a reason for that. Because you see, the fight is a community-based fight. It's a constituency fight. The NDC did all that they could do to make this a political thing, where in the community, they were telling the people that, look, they are not letting you do the Galamsey. When we come, we will let you do the Galamsey. The fight in 2024, demonstration by even Catholic priests went on vigils. Kojo Poku said that if people are demonstrating in Accra, they should go to the communities and demonstrate, not in Accra. People are saying that, but you are issuing the licenses in Accra. When licenses are issued, those are legal mining. not illegal mining. Illegal mining is Galamsey. People try to lump everything together and make it look like legal and illegal, everything is Galamsey. It's not. When government gives a license, it's legal mining. That one is supervised by the Minerals Commission, and it is now policed by every law, and they're supposed to do reclamation at the end of that license. What you see, the water body pollution, all the things that's going on is the illegal mining. You heard the stories, oh, there are MPP campaigns that are doing illegal mining in Ghana, and when we come, we will arrest all of them. Let's pause there. 14 months on, has it stopped? Can you tell me that there is an MPP campaign who is doing Galamsey today that the NDC have not arrested? Are you saying that there are people who are so aligned and deep-seated in the MPP that today are going around brazenly fighting the military, as we saw in the Ashanti, Mankrasu area, where the community were fighting the police? Do you think they're MPP people? It's not. We've been told that there is the licensing of all excavators. They've been tagged. So if the excavators have been tagged and licensed and all the thing that's going on, how come there is still Galamsey going on? To make it worse, last week we heard that Bole, the president's own backyard, is now rampant. That's uncontrollable. Why? Because it is not about the Jubilee House. It is not about President John Mahama. It's a fight between the constituency chairman, the DCE, and the community. My area at Sankregua, every day I get a call. I have a huge tract of land, about 250 acres. My border, my neighbor, right, the main neighbor, he's giving his land to Galamsey. I've gone there and told everybody that, look, if anybody steps on my land, there's going to be a problem. So they don't come on my land. But from time to time, I'll get a call. Hey, could you, even me that I sit in Accra, I'm getting phone calls. Are you telling me that somebody can go to a community, put an excavator in a plot of land, and nobody knows in that area? It's not possible. Me and you cannot go to any village in this country, start in my brother Honorable Fuseini's town, go to his farm and start doing cassava in his farm. Do you know how many calls you get and how me and you will be beaten in that village? Even if we try that in that community. It's not possible. So you see, the point I want to make is that we have done unnecessary politics at the constituency level. And I hear the NDC trying to say that, oh, it's a national fight. Let's do Kumbaya, let's join hands and fight it. It's late.
Okay.
Because you told the communities that they should vote against this guy. When you come, you let them do it. That is why the NDC chairman in the constituency, the DCE, and all the leaders who support NDC now feel emboldened because their party is in power and they will do as they wish.
Okay. Kojo, thank you. 5 minutes is up.
No problem.
Alaj, there's accusation that the establishment of the gold board and the government decision to buy gold from these small-scale miners is increasing the activity of Galamsey or illegal mining. How do you respond to such accusations?
There is no evidence to that. It's a perception. There's no evidence whatsoever to that assertion. So I would like the wonderful question that he ended his submission with.
Okay.
How come that a person can be doing Galamsey or illegal mining in the community and nobody will know about it? That was the question I asked Nana Akufo-Addo. So after the first attempt at fighting Galamsey failed, and they under Samuel Jinapo, and they reconstituted the committee to try to fight Galamsey. I chaired the first conference at the National Theatre, and that was the question I asked Nana Akufo-Addo. It simply does not make sense. You can't have, there's no land in this country that's not owned by somebody.
True.
And these people can behave with impunity. You see, the report is talking about what happened between 2017 and 2024. Aggravated in 2021 to 2024. Yeah. That's what the report is talking about. It's not the report. The 9,000 acres was destroyed before 2025. That's what the Forestry Commission is.
But they were specific with a period.
Yes.
2021
to 2024.
Yes.
Yes. That is when it 5,000 more was destroyed to add to the earlier destruction.
9,000.
Yes. Now, but how did it come to this? Kojo, I'm happy that you have been a very active person in MPP and you have spoken against the way they dealt with Galamsey. On this table, let me say again, when Nanado and his government decided that they were going to ban small-scale mining totally, for 2 years, to sanitize that area, I told them that they were going to make the activity go underground and that they will fail. And they failed. Between 2017 and 2018, when small-scale mining in all its forms, whether legal or illegal, was banned in this country, that was the time Ghana exported the highest amount of gold from the small-scale mining sector. So how was it happening?
On paper, banned.
But so people who had political connections were now mining. And then they were exporting the gold. You know how the amount of money that Ghana lost directly from the gold that was smuggled. And the environmental degradation that we have been saddled with. Secondly, you talk about problem was serious in 2017. I mean, before 2017, I agree. But MPP came into office in 2017. Can you mention one paragraph in the MPP manifesto that said they were going to deal with illegal mining in 2017?
Before or after?
Before they won power. Nanado only rode on the media coalition against illegal mining to assume the fight. It was not in MPP manifesto. So whereas you saw it in 2012 as a problem, in 2017, MPP did not see it as a problem. That's why in 2017, there was no, in 2016, when MPP was writing their manifesto, there was no entry in their manifesto to deal with small-scale mining and claim the illegalities.
I'll check.
You check. Check. Because I invested a lot. I just told you about the tour. The second thing I did for my master program was the small-scale mining sector. Why it is so pervasive. And there is no doubt that political connections are largely responsible. Because you cannot, when I was last a natural resources minister, I went to Denchira, Chichirwe. You know Chichirwe?
Yes.
Mine had collapsed. 9 people had died. So we went to see, and they were doing small-scale mining. There was one Alhaji, who was the owner of the pits. So we went there. Alhaji was arrested. But just at Chichirwe, the river body, there's a river body there, Pra. We went there, we saw champagne, about 7 or 8 on the river body.
Larger scale.
And then the DCE was following. Then I tell her, the DCE, so what are these things doing on the water body? And what I saw was that they were marked, meaning someone had given permission for them to. They were marked. They were taking rents. The DCE, before we came to Accra, I was in the company of a Bevlo Latte, then National Security. Before we got to Accra, the DCE was sacked. Then 2018, I'm hearing that they have found a lot of champagnes and they are burning them. You are not hearing of any arrest.
No dismissal.
No dismissal, nothing. Then, from Paul Boateng, after presiding over the whole thing, you sacked him. He was relieved of his responsibility. The chief of staff was the person who requested for Prumpong Boateng to produce a report of his tenure to guide the incoming committee to fight small-scale mining. He provided the report. You know what they did? They put the report on the papers.
Yes.
The only time they went for the report was when Prumpong Boateng granted an interview and talked about the report. In that report, he mentioned people specifically. So you see, let's not close our eyes to the realities. The reality is that people have used, my own personal experience, I won't bring it. I'm telling you, sometimes it's painful.
It is.
Look, you arrest somebody for engaging in small-scale mining because you go and register a mine support service. Mine support is simply like what Ibrahim Mama is doing. He's not a miner. He provided mine support. So you register for a mine support service. You say, I'm going to provide mine support for small-scale miners because we believe that if that mine support, they won't dig the ground in a way as to disturb the environment. And you have the equipment. Then you use your equipment to be mining. When we arrest your equipment and prevent you from mining, there's a change of government. You sue government, and your party pays you compensation.
We get where this is going.
You get it? This is what so the impunity in our system is just too much, and we're not being honest with ourselves. I can give you a lot of examples. Because I really think that to do nothing about illegal small-scale mining is to commit class suicide. As a people, we are just destroying ourselves. The women who are bringing forth premature babies, deformed babies, the increase in cardio diseases. Today, go to Kolego, renal problems. How many are the people?
Yeah.
Few, but we can't even. We can't find the money to deal with them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what Galamsey will do if unchecked? It will increase the number of renal problems in this country. And when it increases the number of renal problems in this country, Kulebu and other centers will be inundated. Will finally make the people poorer because they will now use the scarce resources they have to go for treatment. So I think that we have not failed. I think that progress is being made, but the progress is slow. That's my honest view. Progress is being made because all the forest areas which were the fiefdoms of Sir John, because he was chief executive.
The forever will.
Yes, because he was chief executive, no one could enter the forest reserves. So he actually had a company, a group of people who were mining in the forest areas. And if we say that, my language, they say that if the chief cuts his hair in a certain style, which mimics that of young men, then what will young men do? If the chief executive himself is doing that, the flag is. You remember the chiefs of somewhere? They did a press conference and said that it was the chief executive Sir John who was mining. They were not mining. And that if they wanted to bring Galamsey under control, they should sack the chief executive. Nothing happened. And then he had the effrontery to even put it in his will. So these are our problems. One, I say, look, John Dramani Mahama, we love you. We think that you are doing well. But give your DC's key performance indicators. Open direct communication to you with Galamsey. Hey, Edoji, you are doing well. Gold board.
Sammi Wiafe.
Sammi Wiafe, gold board, sorry. Sammi Wiafe, gold board. But open direct communication to you, just like you are doing for people who are buying the gold and diverting. Just do that exactly. So that they will report to you who are these people who are doing the illegal mining and destroying the environment. Because if you open direct channel to a high up like Sammi Wiafe or to the president's office and the information gets there, he'll be compelled to act.
Yeah.
And we've seen that when information got to him in connection with two executive officers of the party, he acted.
But like people say, till now, we've not heard anything from that.
But he acted, he referred.
It's a different case. Putting names across,
No.
investigations are on, but it's been months.
So
it's
it is
been
not
months
John.
and
It is
not
not,
heard anything about
I'm
it.
saying that it's not John. He referred the matter. He didn't say that, well, when the information came, okay, I've seen it, and put it under. No, he acted on the information. It's important. Effectiveness and efficiency are different. Whether the office that he referred the matter to have acted effectively is another matter. Because we are waiting for the report.
By the president can order that office to also come and give an update.
The president can ask for the update of the report.
And make it public, like the same way the referral was made public.
Well, I'm saying that the president can act. So I know John Dramani might be listening to us. So he can ask for the report. But he acted. That's efficiency in government. That when things have to be done, they have to be done. Okay. And so, yes, it's a disaster waiting to happen if we don't rain in Galamsey. Communities. Let me call Chicheure. I went to Chicheure. You know what the Queen Mother said? He said, here, we are small children. Oh. They go to school. The Galamseyers, when they dig the pits, they don't cover. Oh. Our children risk falling into the...
Yeah.
But because they are stronger than us, I say, what is disturbing is that, I say, yen nananum is spoken tree. No one says, Sika Koko, I will assume. Insu.
And that's really the way, because last week we were told that a mother and 3 of her children died from the same pit, Galamsey pit was not covered. They've gone in to go and fetch firewood.
Yeah, but you see, the irony of this conversation is that Alaji, who is a very powerful man in NDC, he's throwing his hand in the air.
No, and then you misled. You have misled all the. I'm not throwing my hands into the air. I'm just saying what is being done.
I'm not sure Alaji is
No.
It's giving up.
He's not giving up. I'm saying throwing in the air.
No.
He's asking the president that he's slow.
No.
But you see,
I'm not saying the president is
easy.
slow. I'm saying that it's John Dramani Mahama.
But the president himself has admitted that it's not easy.
So
the
why
president
would they
himself
do
has
that
admitted
politics
that.
with it?
So I'm saying is that-
Unnecessary politics.
So I'm saying that
It's not
it's
easy.
the president himself who constituted me into the chairman of the task force of the committee at the time I was minister for the lands and natural resources. And at that time, we deported more than 5,000 Chinese nationals from this country. 190 something West African citizens. And for the Ghanaians, we were not counting them because this is their country. So we were arresting them and sending them to the police stations. So the president is aware of the gravity of the situation. But your argument, and I always find it laughable when MPP make that argument, that they lost election, a number of seats in 2020 because of their fight against illegal mining. So 2024, when you further lost it, what was it about?
No, but that's still the ongoing situation. No, but the point is that it's still.
Thank you.
That is why you are now.
You see the problem?
The point we made.
You had 160 something.
No, the
you had
point we
160
made
something.
is that.
169.
What's the guy?
Also, but the point we
Then-
made is that the
then-
reason that you are having a problem.
137.
I'll give an example. In
With an
WhatsApp.
independent.
In WhatsApp. There's a
Let's
WhatsApp.
And then it
Let me conclude. Let me conclude. You can come. Let me conclude.
Alaji is concluding in the next 30 seconds, so
So
you
you
can.
had 168. You came to 137.
138.
137. No, 138. The balance of power was the
With Fomina,
No, I know,
with the
but
He
Fomina.
was not
But he's an
MPP. No, he was sympathetic to the MPP.
But now he's come back to
He was an
MPP.
Now he's come back. But at that time, he was independent.
Independent yet.
Because you virtually sacked him. We said you don't try that. You refused. I was in parliament. Now, you said that you came to 137 because you were fighting Galamsey. No. You know what happened? I'm telling you scientifically, politically, rationally what happened. Because of what happened between 2017 and 2018, where you had placed a total ban and allowed Party Hensika and allowed members of your party to be mining, the people in the Galamsey areas felt hard done by your action. So they voted against the MPP. It was a vote to punish the MPP for doing what they were doing.
Okay.
And the punishment did not stop. It finally culminated in decapitating the party.
If you didn't go there, I'll be surprised.
Alaji, thank you. Dr. Norman,
Yes.
I'll come to you now. Should we change the strategy? We've done Operation Horde, putting military men on the ground. We've done Operation Vanguard, still putting military men on the ground. Now we have 9 months, still military men on the ground, and we are not getting the result. should the strategy change?
Thank you. I believe that my brother Franklin Kujo is witness. We met at your same studio in Adabraka about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And that time, Charles Bishu was member of the panel, and myself, and I advocated that with the submissions that have been made today and other places on Galamsey, the only approach that is missing is shoot to kill approach. Because you see, when there are so many political figures behind the scene driving this whole architecture, the people that we are arresting, they don't have the power to really stop anything. But if you start shooting,
These are boys who are going to get, something small to eat.
if it's a war, then shoot to kill. If it's a fight, then go to the ring. And then, like a boxing fight, you hit, I hit. And somebody decides. Power for power. I believe that it's a war. I was so concerned about the poisoning of Galamsey that I had this year, early January, I had my blood analyzed for mercury, lead, cadmium, and there was another substance that cyanide. And luckily for me, because I'm from Konongo, and I also worked in Asankragwa for a while. So I've been going all over the place. I lived in Bebieni, Obuasi. So I was very concerned. And so in my household, I said, okay, I'm the oldest in the household. So use me as a case study that if I am exposed, because we eat the same food, if I'm exposed, then all of you will be in danger. It costs a lot of money to do this kind of study. And luckily for me, the result came out very, very good, to the point where I was surprised that of all the years I've been eating kotomre and all of those things, I still wasn't exposed to any of these. And, I was within the internationally established minimum ranges. But I have advocated for shoot to kill for a very long time. Because how many times we have to discuss this issue again and again?
Then the human rights issue is also coming.
The human rights issue, what about the damage they're causing to people? People being born with no genitalia, with one eye, with no arm. Isn't that a human rights issue? Sometimes when public health is at play, the individual rights can be suspended, as we saw during COVID. The government has a right to suspend the community right, a smaller community right, which is the Galamsey community, for the broader community, which is all of Ghana and beyond. Our food exports are being subjected to a lot of scrutiny overseas by European nations because they are finding a lot of chemical residues. So what are we doing? I don't like talk. I'm a military-oriented person.
Action.
Yes, I want action. So that we don't spend so much time spewing verbiage. Shoot to kill. We can see with drones, we can see where they are hiding, we see, and the people who are backing it, financiers, will withdraw.
Who should do the shooting? The military, the police,
The military is there. Give them the authority to do it. Train some of the Namos people. Go, give them guns. Sometimes when they see them, they're running to where?
Isn't it going to be blown into a full war? Because we know, I'm coming. Because
Let it be.
We know some of these Galamseyers also go into the bush.
They
They're
are
all
not
prepared with very sophisticated guns.
Use
in
drones to see where they are and evacuate and decapitate them. I really believe that we're not approaching it with the strongest possible approach, or arms and weapons and determination, political will, to really end it. Because it will continue. The way we are going about it, this will continue for a very, very long time, to the point where a lot of the younger generations are going to be exposed to food poisoning. Today, there are certain food items in Ghana I don't eat for fear that I don't know where it is coming from. And so for me, I want to have the freedom to eat whatever. I'm being offered. And because of that, I've also restricted my diet to certain areas only. Why? Because I want to continue to live, and when I die at the right time, then I can go in peace. But I don't want somebody's exploitation and profiteering to kill me.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the government is a bit of cowardly in terms of approaching the Galamsey fight. I like the way Trump is doing with the war against drugs, bombing the boats. Finish them.
Doctor, Trump is not a good example.
He is a very good example. It's an extreme case.
Depending on where you stand.
Depending upon where you stand.
Because it's not a good example because he is the president of America, mighty superpower.
Too many.
He's not amendable to the ICC. This idea of shoot to kill is not original. In Parliament, Joe Wise was the first to bring it up.
Yeah. He pushed for it some time back.
In Parliament, I was in Parliament.
know.
I was the minister then. He
I
said,
know.
Inusa, why not you shoot to kill them? so this thing has come up severally. But Duterte's employed the same shoot to kill when he was fighting drugs. Now he's answering questions at the ICC.
Yeah.
No, his was too excessive.
But it will be same. It will be same. And it will be a full-blown war.
So you see why Trump is not a good example. Because he's powerful. He don't work as
In
anywhere.
the Philippines, he was approaching people when they were at home. This should apply in the field. And then when you know that they are back home, arrest them. You don't go to their houses and hunt them down.
When we're in a canoe and they're weaving at us, we shoot them.
No. When you are in a canoe and they are mining,
Yes, they're mining.
then
They're on the champagne on the river.
Then you get rid of them.
waving at you.
you get rid of them. Because warning after warning, they are not listening. They are in the field mining. It is in the field that you shoot to kill. But when they run to the town, pursue them, arrest them, and prosecute them, jail them. I was so sad when we eliminated the death penalty in this country. It is made it very possible for a lot of recalcitrant, recidivist behavior amongst a lot of criminals and people who are attracted to criminal conduct. We should bring the death penalty back. There are some people, according to human rights,
That shouldn't be among us.
that should not be amongst us. They shouldn't.
No, I don't agree.
Wait. It will take your time. He's wrapping up the next 1 minute. And then I'll come to you. You are okay, all right.
I agree.
I think that Galamsey is really a serious issue.
Yeah.
And so, like he said, now when you're even drinking water, even the bottled water, you are wondering
I'm not sure.
exactly what are you consuming. Food is a big problem because you don't know cyanide and all those chemicals, whether it's found its way into what you are consuming. So I agree it's a big problem. Sammi, shoot to kill sounds good on paper, but in practice, it will lead to capricious, arbitrary usage of weapons by the very people you expect to target or protect the environment. If they aim for just anybody at all, you know, in Ghana, you've had situations where even normal policing sometimes will go to the extreme, where innocent people are sometimes killed, guns are, you know, put beside them, and then you are told they're engaged in robbery, and the communities come forward to say that these are people who are not armed robbers, and that they've been killed, you know. And so I think that we need to be a bit careful with the shoot to kill, because the people you find at the sites, right, engaged in the physical activity are usually laborers who are there for the daily skip.
The 200 cities.
The 200 cities, the 300 cities they will earn to go home, buy something for their family to feed. They are usually not the problem. The core financiers, you will not find them at the sites. He's paid for the Shangfang, he's paid for the excavators, the bulldozers, he's paid for everything. And then he has, you know, a front man who assembles the hands. So most of the hands you will find there will be community boys.
Yes, yes.
Guys, sorry to say, strong enough to engage in the physicality of mining, Sammi. We've arrested these guys, we've put a lot of them in jails. You know why the problem is not going? The funding of the problem, the root cause of the problem, has still not been identified. So we are only attacking the symptom. I come, Sammi, you are sitting here. Oh, okay, you are City FM. Might be the owner somewhere. Might be somebody who deployed you to this, right? And I think that on that, intelligence gathering will be very essential. And this is why I think that agencies like the National Intelligence Bureau, National Security, instead of getting their men wielding just the gota, buying gobe and, you know, the Kofi Brookman pointing it, you know, impressing girls sometimes. You should be able to plant a lot of your intelligence officers, even to engage in the mining with the people. Just because you want to unveil who exactly is behind this. If you're assuming we don't know already. If we know, and you still need the evidence, you might need to do a lot more intelligence work, right? Once you're able to get about 5 or 10 of the kingpins, the proper kingpins, you realize 100 of the mining sites, you've taken care of that already. Because the same people that they will finance something here, will go and finance something, somewhere else, and they have the money, they have the knowledge, they have the understanding. I stand here, I don't know anything about mining. So if I come and you even tell me there's gold here, I wouldn't know how to go about it, unless you give me cutlass or a hoe. Then I start digging, hoping that I'll find something sparkling, or I don't know. But those financiers are very much aware of exactly what they are looking for which they commit the young men with their physicality. I do think that we should take a different approach. If we don't, we would only go on arresting young people who, for lack of opportunities in those villages, in those communities, are only recruited to come as the physical, bit. The financier will not go and stand at the site, right? Close to the water body and be doing his own thing. Meanwhile, the financier, if he was minded, it would be easier to dig a borehole, right? Try to get water, pay for a water system, right? If you need to do your washing, do the borehole as many as you can, right? Get as many polytanks as you. If you want to do community mining, I think that there should be some responsibility on you. But because they do not want to invest, right, in the water system, they will rather resort to the natural, water environment. I was in the Western region not long ago. Is it the Ankobra or Sammi? When I saw the color, right? I'm an ordinary person. I was like, really, are we fighting Galamsey at all? The thing is so brownish, more brown than what I'm wearing, right? And yet, you would hear that NIMOS reports that they've made arrests here, and then when they leave the forest, the following day, a new batch. You see, the batch that you arrest today, you take them to the police, you jail them. Tomorrow, when the NIMOS team leaves,
a new set.
A new set, because the financier is able to still get somebody to go around recruiting people. If you got the financier and the guys go there and there's no work for them to do, they will go home, right? So I think that a lot of intelligence will be needed in getting these guys who are financing Galamsey. Again, there's a lot of presidential action you see. We are committing funds. NIMOS is not coming, inexpensive.
Yeah.
We are spending monies. The last time myself, Franklin, and a lot of the CSOs met with the president in the Jubilee House to discuss Galamsey. We were even told that the budget we make for NIMOS is not enough. Yeah. Again, the pits that are being dug, if you needed to go and reclaim those lands, if you hear the cost, it is staggering, it is scary, and yet the front men, the Galamsey boys, are the only ones we are targeting. Sammi, if we had gone for the financiers, the bigger boys, right, confiscated a lot of the assets that they've made, Sammi, we have been able to seize funds, right, from the activities, the illegal operations that they have been able to undertake. I think that the nation will be able to pay for not only reclamation, but even the fight thereon. Those frontmen, the boys, look, if you arrest 1,000, like lawyer Inza said earlier, they arrested 5,000 Chinese. Ghana Immigration Service is telling us it does not know how they got in here. 5,000. Oh. Beyond the 5,000, there will still be another 5,000 reserved. So if you deport the 5,000, there will still be some here. We have arrested so many of the young men. I'm sure there are more than 5,000 who are languishing in jail today. The problem has not gone down. Sammi, in wrapping up, one of the things that I contemplated before the elections in the fight against Galamsey is the fact that the Shamfans, the bulldozers, the excavators, if you cut the source of fuel, if you cut fuel, the source of fuel, those supplying fuel to the Galamsey area, if you cut that supply, the bulldozer cannot work. The Shamfan cannot work. Right? The excavator cannot work. Yeah. So it is as though in one hand, we are saying we are fighting Galamsey, but in the other breath, we are rather the ones sponsoring Galamsey. Sammi, before you move one truckload of oil, right, if we are really monitoring whatever happens, if we are really regulating the space, Sammi, if you come to me and say you want a truckload, where are you taking it to? You are taking it to Amansia West or something. Is it going to the assembly, the district assembly, and you tell me no? Who is the customer? And you tell me it's a mining company. If it is a legal miner, I'm sure their names will be in my records. If it is going to an illegal source and for which you only need the fuel, if I have the power, I will cut that source of fuel. So that if the fuel doesn't go for the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, Kojo, they may have to now go and smuggle fuel from other countries. Then I will tighten the border. So that if you are in there doing the illegal thing, and I'm saying fuel will not come to you, Sammi, how would you power the bulldozer and the excavator in the bush? We take the fuel to them, they load them in gallons, put them on abobo yas through the bush, right? If the fuel doesn't go, the machine will be idle. You can't go on, destroying the environment. So we may need to think out the box in the fight against Galamsey so that it doesn't become one government. Kojo Poku's government came in. He was not a president, but of course, the NPP.
But he wanted to be president.
1,800. Of course, he deserves to be. Yeah. That if Kojo goes, I'll vote for him. You know,
maybe be his running mate.
I may not be, because energy people, you may need sometimes a blend. You see, when they were issuing 1,800 licenses, I wonder what they were issuing them for. Right?
For solid gold.
Chief, you see, it is not even 100, though. It is not 80, it's not 50. Sammi, you are saying 1,800 that people should go and mine. What should they, you know, look, politically, we should put NPP and NDC aside. Look for a more scientific approach to combating Galamsey. At one time, his government said they were deploying drones. Whether they bought the drones, whether they bought the right drones, they bought them. But where are the drones? So
you are even talking about. So while they started the fight in the beginning of 2017, 2018, and they deployed the army. You remember Major Derek Odro came up publicly to say that some of the soldiers were mining. You remember?
Yeah.
And Nitul said, no, that has not come to my attention, but we'll set up a committee to investigate. Up to date.
No investigation.
No report.
You're looking for solutions now.
Yes.
I'll start with you.
Okay.
2 solutions.
Okay, so 2 solutions. I have said this publicly over and over and over again. Make the usage of excavators in Galamsey a criminal offense, so that the owner of the excavator is imprisoned.
Thank you.
To the point that Duncan is saying.
Thank you.
You see, Galamsey, you know what it means? Gather and sell. It's not been around today. When we were kids and we used to go to an uncle, my uncles would come from the farm with a bottle full of sand. They use the assault and shovel to gather areas where they think there is gold, put it in a sack, come home, and while they are home, they use mercury to now go through the sand. But it was not at the scale of destruction of the earth.
Thank you.
The reason the destruction is that massive is the excavator.
And the champagne.
And the champagne. So the champagne is helping them wash. The excavator is helping them dig that massive earth. So the huge crater that's being created is excavator. If you find excavator A in a Galamsey site, the owner is prosecuted and imprisoned. My brother, all those in East Legon, Cantonment, and all these posh areas will stop.
They all go to jail.
Of course, because they will stop the investment. Like to the what Duncan is saying, you see, the two parties, and I agree 100% that we, like what President Kufuor said, we pretend paying workers and workers pretend to work. We are pretending to fight Galamsey, right? But those that are doing Galamsey, an excavator costs more than $100,000. Those young boys you are putting in jail. Today we are saying that we have taken a bill to court, a bill to parliament to let community work so that because our jails are full. Because you are arresting too many young ones, putting them in jail, and other young ones are going there. Those that will naturally go and do farm hands are the ones who are now doing Galamsey.
And you are imprisoning them.
And you are imprisoning them. So one, make the ownership of excavator, if it's found doing Galamsey, a criminal offense. So the owner goes to jail. Two, it is not easy to enter any community and do Galamsey.
Without
the community knowing. The land on which the Galamsey is taking place, prosecute the owner of the land. Because the owners of the land give permission. Don't get it twisted. Otherwise, you can't.
It's true.
Nobody can go to any community and go on a land without the owner giving you permission.
That could be their traditional leaders.
They're so put him in jail. Otumfo has said, Nana Mecha, the man has said nobody should do Galamsey, and if he find you culpable, he will distill you. So do you think he will be upset if you put the chief in jail? No. So the land, two things. And you see, this thing will just vanish. If the owner of the excavator is jailed and the land on which the Galamsey is going on, the owner of the land is jailed. That's it.
Thank you. Doc,
Assets recovery.
two solutions.
First solution, combine what Mr. Amua has said and Mr. Kojopoku has also has said, and then add the Chinese approach. When you exceed, well, you don't want me to use Trump, so let's go for China. When you do critical offense against the state, you should be shot. You should be shot. That is the Chinese approach. If you don't want Trump approach, use the Chinese approach, because it will eliminate the source. Because we Ghanaians, we undermine our nation every single day. Whatever is good, we don't like it. We want to be selfishly rich. We are able to buy imported water to drink, so we don't care about the majority of the people. So when you offend the state to the point where so many people are at risk, look at our river bodies. The turbidity is so bad that if you cook food with normal tap water, I won't eat it. Seriously. So for me, I think the offenses against humanity in Ghana is so severe, we shouldn't wait any longer. We should march some people to the firing squad and get rid of them.
Solution number two.
Well, the first one
yours
is
is combined in one. The combination of one.
Combine what the Duncan has said and Kojo has said.
Okay.
That's one. And then because intelligent-led decision is very, very important. And once you see them operating, get rid of them.
Shoot them. Kill them.
Okay, Alaj, kill it. You kill it, Alaj, kill it for us.
So I think that I agree entirely with what they have said, except that I'm modernizing it small. Intelligence gathering. So it's easier to gather intelligence. You don't need to recruit people. The district chief executive, he is the head of the district, a political unit within the district in which the mining takes place. You should know who are those behind the people. I mean, it is within, if you're a district chief executive and you don't know the people who are operating in your district, then you are otherwise not fit to be a district chief executive. Sure. And so, yes, so intelligence-led operations must be at the center of this, and that must be at the doorstep of the district chief executive. And that's why I've said the president should give them KPI. Tell me who are those operating there. Yeah. True. And when you tell me, I will act on the information.
Give me a weekly report.
Give me a weekly report of what. The second thing is, and Gojo has said, the chiefs. I'm not saying that you should sack them, but they eventually sack them. Recruit the paramount chiefs in all the areas that mining takes place as stakeholders in this fight. Because they install or enskin the sub-chiefs. So recruit them. And the late offensive Hene, I doff my hat to him anytime I speak. When they were talking about stool land revenue, and it was not coming, and they came to my office at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And then some of the chiefs were complaining that Galamsey is on the increase because they are not getting anything. So when you are sitting in the palace and somebody comes, Nana, and that I want to do something here, some land here. You are not getting money to run the stool. So you take it and say, okay,
collect it.
Then they go. So then the offensive said, oh, no. I say, offensive. I'm from offensive, I'm offensive. My town does no Galamsey. Mempe, I won't allow it. So whether you count my palace or not, I won't allow it. The late offensive, he said it to me. And I said, oh, all the other chiefs must learn from him. Yeah. It's possible.
Is it not possible that he is well resourced? Probably he's
or maybe there's two resources enough. You know,
the others don't have
the
it.
outlook, like we have said, Galamsey is so dangerous that to refuse not to confront it.
It's even more dangerous.
It's more dangerous.
True.
And in fact, it's complicity. If you refuse not to confront it, you are complicit in the destruction.
True.
That's why there's a global movement to turn environmental crimes into crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
So if it succeeds, then you are here doing Galamsey, and we are pursuing and you run away, you can be arrested elsewhere and tried for crimes against humanity.
True.
You know, the problem, let me add to what I like to say. You know, before, you have to go into the deep forest or go on a canoe somewhere to see Galamsey. Now, you know, you don't know. Now you are driving, and on the main road.
I'll drive it. I was going to Kumasi not too long ago. The Konogu Road. The Konogu Road. I'm on the main.
Everybody sees them.
Officer.
I'm on the main Kumasi Kumasi. You can see what I'm saying.
Let me tell you something. In Ghana is the only place. If you enter any village or any town and you ask about the national security person, everybody knows who it is.
Yes.
Why? You are there to gather intelligence.
I don't know that you have this thing.
It is there. They walk around with the big crest.
Yeah, and they go there.
And they tell everybody who they are. They actually tell the girls in the town that, oh, I'm from national security. In the first person, you can ask anybody in any town who the national security person is, and they'll go and tell you. You are supposed to be there, embedded to gather intelligence. But everybody knows who you are.
No, but it's now status.
Yes. That's the problem. So you see, the problem is not that we don't see it. Now they're so emboldened that it is right there in your face. And we just walk and drive past it. That is why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that the fight.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, you know, my brother, when he speaks, I listen quietly, and because I know he has the ear of the president. And some of these things we are discussing, I'm sure he'll call he has the president on speed now. And you tell the president that, look, we went on the show, these are the things that the young guys, Duncan and Gojo, are saying. And you might see some of these things coming up.
Okay.
The most important thing is that they have done unnecessary politics with it. And we should
Kojo,
get
you are
an apology.
taking us back.
Kojo, you are taking us back. It's okay. Kojo, it's okay. Kojo, it's okay. You are taking us back. You are still watching the big issue coming to you live from our studio in Accra. Also live on City 97.3 FM. We've got 15 minutes to check out of the studio. 6th March, Ghana was 69. And a lot of people have asked questions. Is it where we are supposed to be? Should we be proud as a country, 69 years of independence? And what our forefathers did? Is it the vision, the aim, and the expectation that Ghana will be where it is after 69 years? I asked my panel if indeed 69 years of independence, are we okay? Are we as a country good enough to call ourselves an independent country after 69? Duncan, I'll start with you. I've got only 15 minutes, so I'll give you just 3 minutes. 69 years. Should we be proud or should just normal yearly celebration?
This is one of the Independence Days that in my 45 years on earth.
Oh, boy.
when you see someone.
Why are you lying? Say you're not going to be on it if you don't want to mention
No,
it
in
yet.
my
Why would you
45
say 45 years? Look at
on
you.
earth. Kojo will not stop mischief, don't worry. This is one of the most patronized. I don't know whether it's because of the Ghana jersey,
I think
the
so,
social media buzz, but every Ghanaian seemed to be happy to associate with the red, gold, green, and black. It might be for a reason. Maybe they are happy being Ghanaians, but even if they are not happy, there are a few things that I think for just being a Ghanaian, you should be happy about, Sammi. The other countries that we look up to them and we are happy that they have the standards of living to back it up. They have the GDP or GNP and per capita, right? People are resourceful in those countries. Some of those democracies or countries have been there for hundreds of years. Ghana is less than 70. So if Ghana was a man, it will now be approaching a full life, right?
Yeah.
In 69 years, as a secured country, I think security, we should applaud ourselves. We should. I have done a few travels here and there. There are places that you will not even dare step out when it's 6 p.m. or 7
I know, right?
in the night. In Ghana, if you decide to go jogging even at 3 a.m.,
You're going to find.
you'll be fine. Generally. In a few instances, maybe 1 out of a million, you will find some crime committed here and there. But security, I think I'll commend the police, I'll commend the military, I'll commend the commander-in-chief. We are secured.
Okay.
There's general peace and security. As a body, my second point is on cohesion as a people. There are countries where you would find one tribe against the other, one religion
Against the other.
against the other, you know, the haves and the have-nots, the caste system, right? In Ghana, maybe because of what Nkrumah introduced earlier, the boarding system, it is so difficult to find, you know, the difference between me and my senior, Inusa. If you can't find us in the boarding house playing football, we play together. Sometimes when parents visit, they bring food.
We all eat.
Yes, we all
Yeah.
eat.
I experienced that in boarding house.
So you see, we don't have that segregation, that, you know, sharp contrast. You are this, I won't talk to you, and no. So there's a lot of cohesion that we share as a people.
Thank you. Your 10 minutes is
No,
up.
no, just
Your-
one
your-
more.
your thing,
Just
your-
one more. Just one more. In terms of our development and aspirations, where the thing will be 50-50, right? People would feel that we should have developed faster than where we are currently. So that is aspiration. But in terms of real development, I do think that we haven't done badly equally. Sammi, I have seen a bit of, you know, overseas, Europe, and a bit of, you know, Asia. I've seen a bit of Africa. when you come to Africa, Ghana is very, very
And we could have done
good.
more.
I agree. That's your aspiration. So clearly, we are people who want to see a lot better. We would have wished we were probably at the height of the Americas or the height of the Canadians or the Swiss, right? But we still have a long way to go. Some of them have been there for hundreds of years. We still have a long way to go. But in terms of development, I don't think we are doing badly, except to say that improve the roads for us. But I think generally,
We've done well.
in my 45 years, unlike Kojo, who is 80, I am
Back
happy
on you,
to be a
I come to
Ghanaian
you.
at
Duncan,
69.
Back
Thank
on
you.
you. Should we be proud? 69
Mention your age
years.
if you are proud.
I will associate the age with Duncan at 45 years. I will associate the age with Duncan. 45 years of my age on this life.
Although you are 70.
Oh, please. You know, one of the things that I saw, and I will take the order the same way Duncan took it. Look, I think there's a trend. I'm not happy with the way the youth are going about the trend. The Jay-Z thing that came about, and I think we are copying the Nigerians. The Nigerians that started using that green and white for their independence.
Yeah.
I think as Ghana, we should look at tie and dye or GTP for independence. If that whole trend that went around yesterday, imagine everybody was wearing GTP or tie and dye
Okay.
or the fugu, something Ghanaian. Okay, so I applaud the youth for starting a trend. But instead of going to import these fake Puma jerseys, right? Because when people tried to sell the original Puma jerseys, which is about 1,000 Ghana cedis, people felt that it was too expensive. And you can't differentiate between the fake and the original, right? So instead of, let's do away, it's good because we are going to the World Cup. So we'll still need our jerseys. But I think that for Independence Day, the Ghana Tourism Authority, we should make a point that we promote tie and dye. I'm for tie and dye, because I think tie and dye is dying. Okay? So we should really promote tie and dye, because it's a very unique material for Ghana that we can promote tie and dye for independence wear. Okay? That said, you know, we move on to what Nkrumah said on independence. He said that, look, we haven't gotten financial freedom, right? We haven't gotten financial independence, and I think that is where we still are. Between the two parties, our party and the NDC, we are still fighting on, I'll do this, I'll come and do this, I won't continue and all that. We are not finding a sync, right? So we will come in for 8 years, do what we think is right for the nation, and the NDC will come in and basically put aside and do what they think is right for their nation because of the two ideologies that we both have. And we are not getting continuity, and the country is not progressing at the rate at which we want it to rate. People are still, the cost of living is what people are measuring. The NDC think that people measure inflation. No, people measure cost of living. And the two parties need to work hard to improve the cost of living and the living standard of Ghanaians. And we haven't gotten there.
After all,
So
the ultimate aim is to make Ghana better.
Exactly. So the standard of living is very important, not the semantics that we play. So bottom line, Ghanaians want to have a certain standard of living. At 69, have we improved the lives of Ghanaians? Yes, Ghana, we've come a long way. Before I came in this morning, me and my daughter were having a very conversation where she comes and said, oh, she's tired of corned beef. I'm like, hey. she's tired of corned beef. And I'm like, you can't. So I started explaining to her when I would have corned beef. You know, when we were kids, you go to somebody's house and they have a display in their living room. And in their living room, they have a display. There's BF soap, there's geisha, there's corned beef, and there's sardine, the Titus one. And when the person likes you a lot, you go into that cabinet, take one corned beef, and go and prepare a stew for you. You appreciate the corned beef because...
On this same conversation, I bought a bottle of Coke for my daughter. And she was like, Daddy, this is too small. I said, you are lucky. In my time, we will share this. Four of us will share this.
That was the second thing I told her, and I was not on this. That's the second. No, you don't share. Your mother buys Coke or Fanta. You say you want some. She looks at you. She drinks it, and there is a small part here. There's a line on Fanta. There's a line here that she leaves for you. And when she leaves that thing for you, you don't drink it one time. When you drink, you put your tongue on the thing so that the whole thing don't come out. So you now be drinking it small. So you see, Ghana has come a long way, right? And I think our kids and the whole country is better for it. So we should appreciate what we have as Ghana.
Doc.
Well, in my 72 years of life,
Thank you.
Unlike
I refuse to mention it.
me, I'm not ashamed of my age. I think God has blessed me with strength and everything. So I'm not afraid to mention my age, unlike some Ghanaians who are always lying about their age. In my 72 years of life, about 40% of it have been outside of this country. Okay. I believe that Ghana is making the effort that it needs to make to get ahead. So to add on to what my two brothers have already said, there is one thing that is looming, one issue. The increasing uptake of dysfunctional families, divorces, is just getting a bit too much. Morality in Ghana is going down and down and down every day. I think that the churches are doing the best they can, but it looks like they are not impacting the moral knowledge to the people, the congregants. And so people are subjecting themselves to machine advice, social media advice, and taking it home, AI, and talking to their husbands or their wives in a very rough manner, and pointing fingers like this, as if they're talking to an idiot. When you're talking to your wife or your husband like this, there's a lot of disrespect. So a lot of marriages are breaking down. And I hope that Ministry of Women and Children and religious, whatever ministry is in charge of this, will really begin to do health promotion in the way of advising families to stay together. Because when you marry in a Christian way, and I'm sure it's the same as in the Muslim way, it's for better or for worse. But little things are sending what we saw in social, with the Russian, with the Ghanaian woman. I mean, these kinds of things are happening without cameras, capturing them. So we need to reposition the national morality in the center of our activities.
Okay. All right. Alaj.
Well, the way the question is framed is counterintuitive. Because Ghana today is definitely not Ghana in the 1960 or 1957 when we became independent. Even your area that we are sitting, so many years ago, it was part of the Fadama area, waterlogged. Today, look at the number of buildings which are here. So,
are you jealous?
No, it means that we are developing. So this discussion is aspirational. Where do we want to go? We should have been more than this. So this is aspirational. For development, we have developed. I mean, at independence, how many double roads do we have in Ghana? And so we are developing. That's why the theme for the 69th anniversary was building prosperity, restoring hope. It's also aspirational. How do we make sure that people can be richer and have more disposable income and then spend on their families, on their needs and whatnot? And how do we restore hope so that you don't ask whether 69 years, you will be proud. You don't ask that question, So it's work in progress, but we have achieved a lot. And President Mama always says that development is incremental. Sometimes you don't even perceive the increments. They are so done in such a way that beats. And then before you realize, I remember when the Nigerians first came to Ghana and saw our Terminal 3. They said, how can Ghana have this Terminal 3 and we don't have this Terminal 3? And the airport enclave, when Rollins came up with that idea, that you have an enclave where only high-rise buildings are, But before, in the past, even airport itself, where Kotoka statue used to stand, look at, can you identify that point?
No.
So we are developing. And our aspiration is that we should develop more than this.
Alaj, thank you very much. Franklin, I'll take your final thought on this. 69 years, Alaji says we should be proud. At least development is a gradual process.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Franklin. Can you hear me?
All right, great. So, interesting. 69 is almost 70. I know Dr. Norman. I'm sure Dr. Norman is a grandfather right now. Hopefully.
He's 72.
And by the way, Yeah, so 69, 70, you're almost like a grandfather. I would have thought that the grandfather would have made sure by now that the grandchildren would have, access to decent healthcare, transportation, good education. Those things are still lacking. Sadly, we may have done some ways of progress, but those things are the basis of life. If we can't fix this little thing, what are we building all these big things for? So look, we need to. The branding of the country is beautiful, but the product itself, when it's being presented, I think there are challenges, and I think it's true. But it's true. We've done well for ourselves in a way. We are a united country, which is a good thing. But we need to move on. And if we want to be like the Singapore's, what do they do? NPH, honorable meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty in public office as well as in private life. Thank you.
Thank you. Franklin, thank you very much. Franklin Kujo, President of Imani Africa. You heard Duncan Amwa, Executive Secretary, COPEG, Kojo Nsafwa Poku. I got it right. And a journalist member of the new Patriotic Party. Alhaji Inu Safuseni, former member of parliament for the Tamale Central Constituency, former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, and former Deputy Energy Minister, and Dr. Ishmael Norma, a security analyst. You join us today for another exciting edition of The Big Issue that came to you live from our studios here in Accra and also live on City 97.3. So come away again next week. May the good Lord be with us all.